At 7 o'clock, we're going to call to order the Town of Winchester Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for June 22nd. First thing to do was, we'll call, roll call.
John Queen.
Peter Martian.
Willie Platt.
Adam Quagliaroli.
Charlene LaVoy.
Brista Malacca.
Jan Perry is resigned, and Scott is absent and excused. And then, agenda review. Anybody have anything on the agenda review? No. Okay. Public comment. Anybody out here with any public comment or anything that doesn't pertain to a meeting tonight? Doesn't look like it? Okay. So now we'll call, number 4, we'll call to order the public hearing PZC 26-6, applicant Alex Fortuna on behalf of Forsaken Lands, location 32 Norfolk Road, proposal special permit for commercial recreation. Somebody want to second that?
I'll second.
Okay.
Alex, just hit one of the red microphone buttons to turn it on.
I did.
Well made it. I second it.
You got it.
Spell open public hearing.
Got it.
Reopen. Reopen is a continuation.
How's everyone doing tonight? Good. My name's Alex Fortuna, owner and operator of Forsaken Lands Outdoor Haunted Attraction. Current business address is 54 Bear Hill Road, Goshen, Connecticut. Mailing, and office address 264 Ridge Road, New Milford, Connecticut. And just want to ask that everything presented tonight, as part of the presentation, whether it has been submitted for the record or not, that we ask for it to please be incorporated as part of the record. And I will hand it over to Megan.
Good evening. My name is Megan Miller. I'm a project manager with Civil One. We've been retained here by Forsaken Land to prepare these plans, and I'd like to just present them to you, and then if you have any questions, please let me know. So as you are well aware of, this site is 32 Norfolk Road. We have here on sheet A1 a map of the entire site along with 500 feet away from the outside of the property. We have Route 44 here to the south. This dash line is that 500-foot offset. The green line is our property line. And then there's more detail here that I'll, of course, go into. And then we have our closest activity to residents is 1,365 feet. So the topography goes from downhill into this river, which is the Colbrook Brook, and then back up into the topography, and then of course you have the Mad River down here. It's good.
Got it.
Yeah, always. It's fine. This is the first thing you. So, our site in more detail, as you can see, so this is our site, existing topography and going down in this way. It's currently vacant. There is a cell tower with an existing driveway access from 44. It's gravel pavement sections. Our proposal is to widen this existing driveway to a width of 22 feet within the state right-of-way, and then go to 20 feet and widen it on both directions with some grading. And so that's, we crossed 3 culverts, existing culverts here, here, and another one up here. Our proposal is to extend them to the new width of the driveway, have riprap modified apron pads which will direct water, slow it down, prevent erosion, and a riprap swale on the western side of the driveway. So as water goes down, it's traveling this way towards the east, hits this swale, and then is directed into the subsequent culverts. We have a new driveway access, so this one will go up to the tower, and then one coming over here as we are going to our attraction. wide driveway, which is made out of asphalt millings. So you excavate the topsoil, put a base down material, and then you put these millings, compact it, and make it stabilized. We have grading plan here. On the downhill slope, we have a stone infiltration trench to handle stormwater. So that way water flows into it, hits that stone trench, goes and infiltrates into the soil as it does today, and slows it down. We have soil erosion controls such as silt fence and a topsoil material stockpile area. So as you were heading down the hill, you then come to this emergency vehicle access. That will also be millings surfaced. It's 50 feet by 75 feet. It's enough area for emergency vehicles to come in, make a turn, and then come back out. And then we also have this this access way here where you can access our proposed grass parking area. We are proposing 120 spaces, which includes 5 ADA parking spaces, which will not be grass, but will be processed gravel. So that will be, again, compacted and meets ADA standards. Our stormwater infiltration also is on this now downhill side. It's on the other side of this parking area. And again, that's 2 foot by 3 foot. Our stone infiltration trench has been sized for the 100-year storm event. So that means that for a 100-year storm event, there's an amount of water that we can anticipate, and our design has been designed for that volume. Also, it's much more than our water quality volume, so it's also taken care of by our water quality, which is what we call the first flush, which is the 1.3 inches of runoff, where you can typically see like oils and sediments, things like that. Also on this side, we have a stockade fence, and that's located 35 feet away from the property line. Over here, from the 800 standpoint, over here, it's all pedestrian, so that makes grade, it's flatter, and it's 20 foot wide, so again, any emergency vehicles could access this area. We have this round 40 foot radius circle, our food truck area, ticketing, things like that, and then you have your queue area before you go into your haunted attraction area. People would then come back out and access our driveway and then come back down to the street. That is about our site plan. This red dashed line is our 75-foot regulated area. As you can see, there's no work in that area. And then this area is to this wetland area. So wetland area, 75-foot offset. There are some portable lights shown here. Those are portable towers, maximum 30 feet, and it's directed towards this area. To get a little bit into the distance from here to the road, we have about a 40-foot grade elevation difference.
How much?
40 feet
40 feet.
elevation, yeah.
Now, how much of a grade from the walkway and the parking lot down to the wetlands?
From here, I can certainly find that elevation for you. If you got my scale.
It's 920, is that now?
Let me finish this up. 6-foot stockade fence, 35 feet away from the stone wall. Our stormwater, and then from here, this attraction to the edge of the road is 270 feet. And again, our attraction is about 40 feet lower than the elevation of Norfolk Road, which creates a visual and tactile barrier, of course. And then as far as this is the lower area, so you have a much more auditorial and much more visual, of course, I'm great.
920.
I'm looking at my scale from my bag and I can
Right,
tell
so
you
it's-
what
It's 20 feet then, this is,
So it looks like they're from
So
the
they're 2 foot intervals.
start of the parking
This is
lot down
930.
oh,
to
930.
the wetlands, it's like a
Okay.
40-foot drop.
It looks like it's 4 feet.
This is
It's relatively flat.
next page over there.
So that's 10 foot, it's about,
Yeah, but you-
920.
yeah, it's like 940 up here, 910 over here, so, yeah.
about a 14-foot drop from this area to this,
Mhm.
over, silt fence. Once it's stabilized, you know, that sometimes gets removed and nothing is really moved from the site. And we're handling any stormwater coming off of our area of work through this stuff.
So the fence is gonna go all the way down to the food truck area?
It stops here, about the 725 station,
Goes to here.
and then it comes along this area,
Light towers.
which is where it's closest to the property line. You know, out here, it's our property and it's quite far.
It looks like it comes along the whole back and then the whole sidewalk right
Yeah,
down.
you got a brown line going, well, actually, that must be the center line on the road.
That's the center line, but the line with the dots looks like it comes around the corner.
That's the center
Stops
line
right
of the
here.
road. If you look
How
at
far is
here,
here?
Wrong drawing.
Yeah.
and then it goes along here to here.
Did,
Yeah, I see it.
Go to
That's the
2.2.
temporary silt fence.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
silt fence. Oh, gotcha.
You got it. It's the silt fence she was looking
Oh,
at.
yeah, so it's
Yeah. Yeah, it ends right by the way, light towers.
Mhm.
Good question.
If
Did you
it's-
have to look at light trespass of vehicles going down the entry road and shining the light, forecasting light further into, you know, the neighbor property?
So,
And the question is like, is the 6-foot fence high enough to block all light trespass of the vehicles driving down that driveway?
so it goes down here. So
Yeah.
while you're driving here, your lights are hitting this way.
Yep.
So as you're driving down, it goes along the grade.
Yep, yeah.
And then all around here where you're really, when you get, it's pointing towards the property is when you're parking.
Yep.
So that fence is gonna handle that. And then. yeah,
I think the segment of the road is right after that right-hand bend if entering, before that. Keep going before that. Yeah, that segment is pretty much, I think you got like a 15% grade down there. And then you turn right slightly. Now, right there,
So our fence starts here.
yep.
Before that.
And so the question would be is,
Is it tall enough to block
yes,
the-
so if you're going down
Down
that
the
slope of the
hill.
drive, is a 6-foot fence tall enough to block the lights?
Well, I think we have to.
Trespassing to the neighbor
I
property.
think we also have to remember too that it's a fence,
Yep,
but then all of this is wooded.
yeah.
There is over 1,000 feet of landscape buffer
Yeah.
before you reach your neighboring property.
Their property, right?
Yeah, but there's a river, there's about
Yeah,
a very large elevation difference.
yeah.
From where our property is and then down to the river to then back up.
I thought it looked like the grade lines, I thought it looked like the light would go across or go with the grade lines, right? So.
It goes
the light would-
along with the road,
Yep.
right? So it's going down, your roads are, your roads are gonna go along with the road,
Yeah.
great. But after the stockade fence, you're going to forested land.
Yep.
And then it drops down in your elevation. And so your trees are gonna create a natural landscape buffer, before it hits any development over 1,000 feet.
But the leaves will be off in the fall.
They will be off in the fall. It's also still at over 1,000 feet. And elevation difference, it's quite a bit. It's kind of like a natural grade. So then you have to come back up to that elevation.
So if you were to, again, what was there, did you look at any light trespass analysis going down that slope of the drive?
It's going to hit the fence.
Hit the fence, for sure. So you looked at that?
There
that's-
was no photometric analysis of the vehicles.
Well,
Is that what you're asking?
So. I think there's a grade or slope page, right? So right here, right? I would believe, so this is the slope of the driveway coming in, right?
That is the slope of the driveway coming in, yes, from this section here.
Yep. So the segment where the car, yeah, right there, I would think would be this line right here, right?
So that's at station 30 at
Yep.
300.
Yep. So the headlights are going to die into the property. Right, if you were to put the stockade fence somewhere, where would it be on this chart?
It starts at station 450. So stockade fence starts here,
Yep.
and it's 6 feet tall.
Yep.
And you have a vehicle where your headlights are typically 4 feet
Yep.
off the grade.
Yep.
So it's gonna hit a barrier,
Exactly.
and then even if there's plenty of landscape buffer.
Understood.
Yeah.
So the only portion where I would see you would have light trespassing would be up here, but it's on that bend, right? So the lights are gonna be pointing uphill.
Uphill.
Yep. So the segment of the driveway where we'd be concerned with light trespass, the headlights are gonna die into the ground or the 6 foot. Okay, all right. I'll check that. I wanna double check that. My interpretation is correct, and if you did that deliberately or not, you know.
What's the maximum grade of the driveway?
The maximum grade of the driveway is 14.75%.
So almost 15% then.
So just like on the driveway after the corner, just by scraping the topsoil off there and putting millings in, it's gonna support an emergency vehicle.
Yes, and I have. Detail. So you're pinning down, you remove the topsoil to whatever depth that it is. You then put your process, 6 inches of process aggregate, and compact it. So process aggregate, when compacted correctly, is very, very good. Like you would call it impervious. That's why you have our salt water, right? It's not a gravel type of situation where you have loose gravel, we're putting
Well,
it 2 inches.
it has to be rolled into,
Yes.
to bind together and do all that.
Exactly, but
Right.
when it's compacted, it's a compacted surface. Yeah.
The initial driveway coming in, I've been curious about that one, because that's got a right of way that actually belongs to
DOT. Yeah.
the cell phone company, and isn't there power under that?
So, there was a site meeting with District 4 engineer, DOT.
Not the DOT.
Right here.
After the DOT, isn't there cell phone lines and,
There's
power
buried
under
power
that?
lines.
Buried power lines there?
I'm
So I could jump in with that, yeah. So I've been in contact with both American Tower Corporation and Eversource for that exact purpose, for that exact reason. And I've discussed that with them. So we've shared, these plans with them. And they said at this time, there's no concern. Of course, before work commences, we will be doing, an 811 call before you dig to verify that. However, again, this is the way I explained it to them, it's surface work. There's no major digging. Obviously, the swale that's there that's existing will have to get moved over. And obviously, prior to any of that work being done, we will call 811, to ensure that we are not, touching any of those lines. So the American Tower, and I've been in touch with the attorneys from both American Tower and Eversource that cover this district, so that they're well informed on the plans.
Okay, because a lot of times these type of right-of-ways, they don't allow any alterations or.
Yeah, and they
This is
reviewed
going forward.
the easement language, and right in the easement it says that we have the right to improve anything within the existing driveway in the easement area. So both their attorneys I've been in touch with.
Now, previously, you had stated that you were gonna do all this work yourself. Are
Yes.
you still anticipating doing that?
Yes.
So, I'm a little leery of you being able to build the road to the standards that she's got designed here.
Okay.
So
So what are your
can you
concerns
do
about
that?
that?
You're gonna get compactors in there? You can't use a skid steer to
Of course,
compact it.
yeah, rollers, yep.
Yeah.
Yep, we have connections at Sunbelt. We've done it before, at our previous location, for our access road and, developing the site where the attraction lived. Yeah, we've done it all before.
Anybody else got any questions?
Civil One gonna be doing, inspecting the roadway, the construction of it, and certifying it?
We haven't, but I'm sure if you wanted to
Okay.
get
We'd be open to that.
approval, we could have it.
We'd be open to that.
No,
For sure.
There obviously should be some oversight who's building this and how it's built. So there's no liability on the town.
We're open to that.
John, you got any questions?
Yeah, I'm just trying to see where this structure fits into the,
In the green area.
so in the green area,
That's all in the green area.
so this is uncovered temporary, it almost looks like cubicles to me. What are they made out of?
So, so those are 4-foot by 8-foot plywood framed wall panels. So they're completely modular. And so there's no floors or foundation or roof. So they are what they're also referred to as Hollywood flats. So they're, again, 4-foot by 8-foot sections that form each of the sections of the attraction, with a facade on the front, emergency exits located every 50 feet, extinguishers every 75 feet, emergency lighting throughout that can be activated at any time the power cuts out or, by manual switch, and egress around, the exterior of the attraction. Did you get a chance to look at a couple of our prior meetings? I could pull it up on my iPad here and show you. We have in our full proposal PDF, we actually have drone shots of our previous attractions, so it could give you a better, visual of what it's like. Do you want me to pull that up on my iPad? I could show you.
Maybe a false front thing.
Yeah, I probably would have missed that meeting.
I'm sorry.
I probably did miss that meeting.
Okay. Would you like me? I could pull it up on my iPad. I could show it to you if you'd like.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind.
Okay. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get it up there, but I could. Is that okay if I bring my iPad up? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
If you just give me 1 second, if you have any more questions for Megan while I pull this up.
You guys already saw this?
Yeah, we have previous meeting, we for Jeff and Jeremy, this whole new engineered site plan is totally different than what was presented to the police and fire department. Has this new plan been sent to them for review?
It's been sent, but we just received it on Thursday, so we haven't had any response yet. I know that Alex has been in
Now,
touch.
is there gonna be any other access from the parking lot to the actual haunted attraction area?
So that's the primary access.
So basically, for fire and EMS, they're gonna have to park down at the bottom of the parking lot
Yep.
and hoof it in almost 1/8 of a mile to get into the haunted house area.
This area is a 20-foot.
Okay, but that's, pedestrians are gonna be in there, so if you're trying to evacuate pedestrians, you're gonna be trying to get an ambulance or a fire truck in there.
Well, I'm sure.
We have it built in our emergency access plan. If that were to be used, we have
Right,
crowd.
but that's 1/8 of a mile you've gotta get to get into the haunted house. And
So,
as far as a fire truck,
Yep.
you've got a 40-foot radius turnaround.
Yep.
With food trucks in it. You're gonna take a 35-foot fire truck and put it in there and try to turn it around?
no, so I actually spoke to the fire marshal when I dropped the plan
No,
off.
not fire marshal, I'm talking fire chief. Fire
Okay.
marshal doesn't drive a fire truck.
Okay,
He
so,
inspects.
so I shared, before the final site plan was done, with Civil One.
I know the previous plan had, I'm talking
Yep.
about this plan here.
Understood.
This is totally different. 'Cause you
Understood.
had an access point from the
Yep.
parking lot,
Yep.
coming right up directly to a food truck area.
Yep. Okay.
So you'll have a short distance.
Okay.
Now you're talking almost 1/8 of a mile from where the trucks are gonna park up to the
Yep.
haunted area.
Okay, so, yeah, I mean, that's fine. I mean, so I do just wanna, throw it out there. Before we, finished, the final site plan with Civil One, I put up the mock-up that I had presented to you guys originally at the previous meetings. I had altered that to reflect this plan, to show the same distance and, that the direction that we were going. And I actually sent an email to, the staff, fire chief, fire marshal, police chief, and I said, this is the layout that we are going to be going with, which reflects this and shows the EVAP in that, same relative spot. And I said, if, you have any concerns or any questions, please feel free to reach out, as this is the direction that we are going with the orientation of the layout. So they, they were notified of the change.
Which was how long ago?
I could tell you right now.
Because it's
that
nothing,
was
nothing
probably-
we've received in our packet, and there's been no update from the fire chief
I
or the
want
police
to
chief.
say that was
for the
2
plan.
weeks ago. Let me see. Give me 1 second, please.
So Jeff and Jeremy, in my experience, when the fire marshal reviews plans, they usually look at fire safety and
Yes.
truck
Yeah, he looks at the fire
access.
safety.
But not fire, but truck access, and that's, that as well.
But
And-
the fire chief has to look at operational, from an operational standpoint, going in and actually either rescuing someone or going in to fight a fire if there was a fire.
Usually
I will say, in most communities I've worked in, we typically, and we communicate with everybody, but our typical line of communication is through the fire marshal, who
Right.
then forwards it and, goes back and
Right.
forth with the chief.
I'm just saying, we
So-
have not received an update on this plan.
Yep, understood.
Because it's
And-
totally reversed of what the original plan was that they did respond to and had no issues to.
Yep,
I
and they've
understand.
been notified, and as of now, we don't have any comments.
On June 9th, that was sent out.
Okay.
And did Civil One do turning radiuses and stuff to confirm that a fire truck could get in and out?
The access, we did not perform turning radiuses, but this area is 50 feet by 75 feet. I mean, that's.
Yeah, that's 50 by 75, that area is quite large.
Yeah, it's, that we don't have any concern of.
That's not a problem. The problem is up close to the venue.
Now, again, if you wanna make a shot here.
But that's for
ambulance-
pedestrians, right?
Well, it's 20 feet. So, people, like, you're gonna pull over if you're driving on the street, right, for an ambulance? People are going to move away, certainly, and 20 feet is plenty enough for an ambulance to get in. And, this is a pretty close radius, and you're talking about the
Right, but there's gonna be food trucks there. So-
yes, but
So 40-foot radius with food trucks doesn't leave you much any room to turn around.
it's, again, this is like an 8%, right, slope, grassy area. I see what you're saying, absolutely,
Yeah.
but.
I mean, if there are no food trucks there, yes, it would be totally adequate.
I'd like to have a singular food truck. We will not have multiple. There will be a singular food truck. We don't do more than one in an evening. We only do one at a time. And then also, I'd like to throw in, with the pedestrian path. So that's not an artery where guests will congregate at any time. There will be no queuing there. There will be no standing around there. That is strictly an in and an out. That's a constant flow in that area. So whereas in the queue area, leading up to the attraction, everybody's standing in line. That's different, right? So in that, what we're referring to is the pedestrian path there. If we did need to get an emergency vehicle through there, it will not be a large volume of foot traffic that we would even need to clear out of there. That's just the residual, the people coming in for each slot and leaving. They're not really congregating until they get into the queue area leading up to the attraction.
So, couple questions.
Yes,
You're gonna have a generator here,
yes.
or where's the generator gonna be?
So the generator will be, if you look at the haunted attraction area, about 25 feet outside of that.
And
You're gonna ask east, west, south?
Yes, so we're gonna, you're gonna be looking at east, so between the queue area and the attraction area. And again, subject to change, it's not, it doesn't have to be in that specific area. That really is, if you have preference of where you'd like for that to be, that's completely,
and you have
Flexible.
your light tower,
yes, sir.
We have a requirement that lights have to be no more than 16 feet tall.
Yep. Jeremy and I had spoken about that, so it says 30-foot maximum there, maximum on there. I believe Brian probably put that in there just based looking at the spec sheet for the light tower that I gave him. And, we understand that it will be a condition of approval that we will not exceed 16 foot in height. It's on a pulley and crank. You could lift it to any height that it.
Okay, can you,
And you still get your desired spread of light?
Yes.
You need multiple?
Yes.
Just one is good enough for you?
Oh, yeah, we, at our previous location, we actually had the parking area split up into 2 sections, and 1 light tower was more than sufficient. We don't have a need for more than that, especially, this is more concentrated than our previous parking layout. I should say at our previous location, excuse me.
so light towers can have different heads on them. Are you getting, what, a construction head that's gonna light up the whole parking area, or what are you getting?
Yes.
They do have some that, just like downward lighting.
Yeah, so, when you say construction heads,
Well, you get one that, you get these big, huge lights on them that flood, acres. Are you looking, what are you looking,
I
what's
could-
your specification on your light?
yeah, I
tower?
could pull up the spec sheet right here. Please.
Yeah, sure then.
One second here.
Now, your location of that, you've got a fence right there, stockade fence, then you've got the ditch with the stone infiltration and a road, well, that's gonna be partially out in the walkway, roadway, where it's located.
The, I apologize, the light tower?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It won't encroach on the roadway, no. It won't touch
There's
the.
enough distance between the fence and that?
Yes, we are, yep. We were gonna keep the fence far enough back so that it does not, we obviously
Looking at the
can't.
drawing, there isn't, but,
Well, it's
um,
5 feet.
Give or take,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, the light tower
and
is,
a light tower is 5 feet, at least, one of the tallable light towers are.
I think it's, let me see, I'm gonna pull up the dimensions on it, just give me 1 second.
And there's other locations too for the, if concern is there's more space on the curve where that could be relocated. And
Yeah, I noticed that farther to the curve area there is, that's why I'm just questioning that location, where you may want to bring it over to that curve,
Yeah.
where you have more room.
Yeah, that's absolutely. Let's see. Just 1 second, please.
So if I can, just to go back to the emergency vehicle access, and this is kind of a question for both you, Peter, Commission, and for Alex. Considering your concern, and I know it's a compacted gravel pathway to get you down to the food truck sort of gathering area, would the applicant be amenable to, and would the commission be satisfied if a hammerhead turnaround was provided at that turn to allow for vehicles to, to be able to make a turning movement, if the area.
I think it'd be much safer for an ambulance, especially, I think this is what's called more than fire, hopefully. But especially for an ambulance, because I mean, you're looking at 20-foot wide, and then you get up there, if there's people there, you've got food truck there,
And
and
that's why,
everything else.
that's why
Yeah,
I'm
it's
wondering
5 feet wide.
if it might satisfy the commission to have a hammerhead turnaround in that location to have an ambulance be able to make that turn.
And I'm sorry, I apologize, I missed that. In what location were you?
Kind of like right here.
Right at the
make
90-degree
okay.
corner, basically.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Right near the 90-degree corner you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right where the hand is, if
Yeah.
you can see that. Just create a hammerhead turnaround there.
And we'd be happy to work again with your emergency services to provide either turning movements or, showing if that's not adequate enough, like a hammerhead, or as a condition of approval.
Did you?
So there are different heads that can come on, you can take that. There are
Okay.
different heads you can get on here that will limit the amount of glow that comes off, the LED ones that downward shooting,
Yep.
And you might wanna come up with some different, instead of those are like construction heads that are up there.
Yep.
They just light up
Yeah.
acres.
I can talk to Sunbelt and see what options there are, absolutely.
So one of the things, maybe through a condition, we can talk about the lighting, to make sure that it's both safe and appropriate, not overlit, is working with the land use department. And when you look at lighting specs, they usually have like a bug, which is back up and then glow. And I think in this case, what we would be concerned with is the backlighting.
Okay.
And always the uplighting, but to make sure that that's where the residents are, so if you find one that maybe has less of that backlighting, that can still
Oh, yeah.
light this up and work with it.
Yeah, and this is I use this light tower as an example just because that's the one that we used at our previous location. I'm not saying we're set on that one, that's the only one we have access to. We're completely open to, using a different unit with different specs, different, like I said, different heads. We're completely flexible with that.
Now, your hours of operation,
Yes.
you want your last tour to start at 10,
Correct.
and that, you say they're gonna be out by 10:30,
Yes.
and then you guys have to pack up and get out.
So when you say pack up, what do you mean?
Well, you're gonna have to get all your crew out, get your garbage gathered up. and
So
all
the
of that.
crew, actually how it works is, the crew is out at the time that the last customers get out. So basically, we have a supervisor that follows the last group of customers through, 10 feet behind them. As those customers go through, they literally walk the path. The actors in each scene are relieved at that time, and by the time the customers get out at the end, 90% of our staff is already relieved. The only staff that are still getting checked out by the time the customers are leaving the exit are in the last scene, because we want to get our staff out of there like that anyways. We don't want to make them stick around. They want to go home too. So we actually have that system in place so that by the time the last group is on their way out, the staff is already out. The haunted attraction is pretty much empty of all guests and staff by the time that last group comes out. And then in terms of powering down, we just have to kill the main power of the generator. So the shutdown process is extremely quick.
As I said previously, I'm more leaning towards liking the fact that your last group would be out by 10. Because generally, you've seen, events and stuff, 10 o'clock, noise stops, everybody's done. Goes after that, they start dialing the cops. So I'm more leaning to, say, your last run, you said that the last run at 10 o'clock isn't very
It's
many
slower.
people. It's slow.
Slower, yeah.
So it doesn't really, they'll just come sooner though.
But I sort of don't, I want to just talk about that a little bit, because your last run is at 9:30, that's a whole half hour of business. You might get people walk in, or people come at 9:45, I mean,
But they buy tickets.
May I
Yeah.
add one thing before this might help the conversation here. So now let's look at the busiest nights, right? Where we do expect to be done, closer to 10:30 instead of 10:15, right? Now, if we take on our peak weekend, right? If we take that half hour time slot and we take all those customers and we spread them out into those previous time slots without that other time slot, we are now trying to jam more capacity into those time slots which aren't designed to accommodate that extra foot traffic. So now we're kind of running into that problem by taking that extra time slot and eliminating it. Now we're trying to jam it into those other ones that where you're looking at your 8 o'clock, 8:30, or even your 7:30. We're going to be trying to jam more customers into those, which those are already the packed slots. So I think, I apologize, just if you want to continue, that's kind of where I was going with it too. It would make the overall operation more difficult by doing it that way. And when we say 10:30, like I said, that's on the busier nights. On an average night, you're looking at 10:15. So that's kind of where I am on that. Yeah, first I apologize. You can
no,
continue.
that's okay. I don't think a business closing at 10:15 or 10:30 is unreasonable, but that's just my opinion. I respect others too.
Can I just ask one question to help put it in context?
Please do.
How many nights per year are you operating?
We are operating anywhere from, we usually start the calendar with 14 nights, and then with rainouts, if we have rain dates, 16 max.
Sorry, thank you.
So how many nights? 14?
14. And then 16 maximum with, if we had to reschedule for rain dates. And that's only Fridays and Fridays through Sundays. So actually, to give you a breakdown of
So
our...
it's three nights a week, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yep, so the first weekend, which would be our last weekend of September, we only do Saturday. Then the first weekend of October, only Friday, Saturday, no Sunday. Then the remainder of October, Friday through Sunday. First weekend of November, just Friday, Saturday. That's it.
Your other operation was only open in the fall?
Correct. That's correct. Our location, our previous location, Action Wildlife, they did other activities throughout other times of the year.
Right.
We weren't affiliated with that.
Anybody got anything else? Charlie?
You covered the light thing, the light thing was the most bothersome there.
Yeah, that's easily
Yeah.
fixable, yeah.
So I just wanted to say, first of all, I want to say
He's already said one food truck.
thank you
The last one here.
for going through this and getting these plans. I think this really answered a lot of questions that we had and addressed a lot of the concerns with the grading and the drainage. So thank you for doing that. I think this is great. I know that there's still a question about, is this use permitted under our regulations as recreation? And I think, as an AIC planner, during the public hearing, I just wanted to kind of address that. Our recreation facility, commercial, which is public, which is allowed in the zone, athletic, recreational, or physical fitness facilities. We're defining the term recreation with the word recreation, so if you go to the dictionary, it's any activity done for enjoyment, relaxation, or refreshment during leisure time. I think this does clearly fit more into recreation. It's temporary, there's no amusement rides, there's no amusement game type things. Similar to what we would see a recreation department do during Halloween or haunted house, haunted hayride, haunted walk through the woods. So in my opinion, I feel our regulations, and as an interpretation of our regulations, it does fall under recreation facility public, which is an allowed use in this zone. And so I just, for the record, wanted to note that. And other than that, I think this is a great opportunity for bringing people to our community. They're not there all day, they're there for a short period of time. Hopefully you work with some of the local businesses, so as visitors come,
Absolutely.
they do patron our business
We've actually
before
already
and
been in
after.
contact with several that are interested in cross-promoting. We've actually had a few Winchester residents already reach out because they saw the public hearings and everything that we're looking for jobs.
That's
So that's, that's
I
definitely
think it's
exciting.
great. I think it's something for our youth to do. I think it's
Yeah.
something for our families to do. I think it's a great way to highlight and draw people to our community and support our local business. And any of the concerns I had, I think are addressed with these plans, so I wanted to thank you for that.
This area, that nugget where you're doing obviously that's all wooded and or brush now. Is
Yes.
it gonna be totally clear, or you're gonna leave
No,
What are you
so
planning to
I know
do?
you marked the limits of
within
clearing on there.
within that area just that? So all that other,
So this dashed gray line is the limits of disturbance. It's the limits of like clearing disturbance,
yeah,
things like
okay,
So everything surrounding it will remain
yeah,
in its natural state.
yeah,
woods here in between,
mhm,
of course, woods.
yeah, right.
And that's part of what we don't want to bring heavy commercial development. That's part of, obviously, we looked very closely at the plan of conservation and development, the town regulations, and, we felt as though it fits in very well with that.
So back on the 10 o'clock.
Yes.
So how about if you do 10:30, everybody's out, tower light goes off as soon as you can turn it off.
Yep.
10 o'clock on Sunday night.
Can I think on that? Would I be able to get you an answer at another time on that? Or you know
We're
what?
gonna have to-
If you give
The
me,
only way you can do that is we continue the public hearing.
if you give me, I have some of my team here. Would I be able to consult with them just for a minute?
Go ahead.
Would that be okay?
Karen, go
Did
ahead.
you
Just a
take
brief one.
noise level readings in your
I'm
past?
sorry.
Did you take noise level readings in your past operation?
Yes.
And I recall you did, but what were the levels?
Christine is the person that will know that answer. She has those. Can I consult with them real quick? Yeah, we have them. We have the readings. I can get both of those answers for you in just a second.
There's an ordinance in Winchester. It's a 10 for
I think it was pretty low levels, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then after 10, it's still, I mean, you still make noise,
Right.
but it's reduced down to 45 dBA versus 62 daytime or something like
So, as Civil 1, you guys are okay to oversee the road building and all of that, to make sure it's done to specifications to support the emergency vehicles and stuff?
We do construction administration.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you walk the property? Or did you have someone from your area walk the property?
I personally did, I did not,
Yeah.
but I did not.
I'm glad you did.
It would be difficult to walk.
Yes.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard.
It's rugged.
But our director of engineering, Brian Baker, walked the property, met with DOT,
Yeah.
had a site meeting. We did additional topography. I don't think he was a big fan of it, but I'm sure
Yeah.
there's lots of stuff.
Going to need a few excavators, I believe, to get in there. What else? Do you want to open to public comment?
Yes, we are okay with 10 o'clock on Sundays.
10 o'clock on
Yes.
Sunday night?
Yep. And then now, as far as the decibel readings, at, I'm sorry, if you'd like, would that be okay?
Sure.
She was actually the person who did her decibel readings at the decibel meeting.
So I did readings all over the entire property. I did readings at the driveway, I did readings in front of the neighbor's property, all over the property. At the loudest point, and I'm talking right where would be considered the loudest area, nothing was over 50.
Oh, what?
Nothing was over 50.
Oh.
And that was right in the loudest area. It didn't travel far at all, like at the foot of our driveway, you couldn't hear it. Walking away, I mean, I can't remember off the top of my head, I did not walk far away for it to meet ambient levels of noise was about, woods is about 30.
And to add to that as well, as you can see here, the attraction is, if you have the scale, if you can see from where the attraction is to the back end property line from the parking area. So to put this into perspective, where these measurements were taken from Christine at our previous location, the attraction itself at our old location was about 50 feet from the property line at, you know, the neighboring property line at our previous location, extremely close, and that was the reading, 50.
No, that was, no,
Or it was, I'm
at the
sorry.
property line, it
Oh,
was less.
less, I'm sorry, less. So, just to put that in perspective, we have a significant,
It's about over 300 feet from the attraction to the rear property line.
and so the inverse square law also, we've done extensive research on that. I'm gonna pull that section up.
So the neighbors aren't gonna hear people screaming and,
No,
You couldn't hear anything at the foot of the driveway at our previous location.
So I'm gonna pull up, so we actually did a little bit of study on the inverse square law. So I'm just gonna read this section. This is actually right from our full proposal PDF that we submitted for the record. So, so the property's natural geography and substantial setbacks provide a secondary, highly effective layer of sound insulation. A minimum buffer of, you know, the 300 feet to the property line, and then all the way to the nearest residence, which is 1365, if I'm not mistaken.
Over 1,400.
Yep. Of dense mature forest exists between any sound source and the nearest residence, providing significant vegetative separation. The forest density is going to absorb the sound waves through scattering, preventing the low echo effect in what would exist in open terrain. Mathematically, the inverse square law dictates that sound pressure levels decrease by approximately 6 decibels for every doubling distance from a sound source, given our almost 1,500-foot setback from any residence. Well, the attraction itself would be 1,500 feet from the nearest residence. Any ambient noise, which is already maintained at conversational levels, and again, we have full control of our sound levels. It's not like you just turn on the amplifier, the noise is consistent, can individually tune each speaker.
You do have full control of yours, but cars entering with radios on or stereos is a different story, but yeah, understood.
Will undergo massive decay before it ever reaches a property line. So if you measure sound at 10 feet, and then you measure it at 20 feet, the sound pressure level is going to drop by 6 decibels. That's the inverse square law. So it will then drop another 6 decibels from 20 to 40. So to put this into perspective, if for food for thought, which we haven't generated sound at this level, but even if you were generating a sound at 80 decibels from a certain source, point, right? That would drop to 26 decibels at a distance of 1,500 feet away. That is lower than a whisper. So you wouldn't be able to hear it. And that's not even factoring the ambient noise of the significant buffer of all the wooded property. So it would essentially be non-existent.
I think I might have mentioned, and if I didn't, I'll mention it again. I actually attended this event when they were at Action Wildlife. You pull into Action Wildlife and the parking lot was on the left, and then you walked up to the right to the attraction. And I pulled it away. I actually thought I was at the wrong place because I couldn't see or hear anything. And we got out, we started walking up, and it really was pretty.
And we were in an open field there.
Yeah,
We
it
had
really
no
was
tree
pretty
cover.
quiet. I didn't hear any noise at all until we got very close to the actual attraction.
Anybody else on the board have any comments or questions?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just, the DOT letter.
Yes.
So, I heard Peter say, so it's gonna, you're gonna comply with this in terms of the
Absolutely, yeah.
width of the
Yeah,
road?
we met with Aaron.
I know.
Yeah, we have to. We met with
But
Aaron.
he mentioned 20 feet, and this says 22,
So-
so.
22 at the DOT's.
At the,
It's 22 feet in the right of way, and then.
got it,
Yeah,
got
and
it.
Aaron Steves, who's the
Right.
Special
Okay.
Services Manager for District 4, you know, he came out and did a site walk with us, you know, with when, you know, our engineers came out, and yeah, so we're
And
all on
also
the same
everything
page.
on the Torrington Area Health District letter.
What's that?
Everything on the Torrington
that as
Area
well?
Health District letter, you're
Yep.
gonna
Well,
take
that's
care
all
of.
dialed in.
Yep.
And we actually already have our, what they require is an addition application, you know, basically, we're now using the property, we actually already have that in hand, they already, and that's on the record as well, on the portal, we already have our, addition application from them approved.
All right. Anybody in the audience have any questions? Oh, come forward, state your name.
Thank you. We're gonna migrate.
We're gonna clear the table for you here.
No, they can sit there after. All right, because I've got dumb questions. My name's Tyler Esbury, 233 Colebrook. And this curve in the road up here, I think I'm familiar with that, but I could be not thinking in the right place.
Which one were you?
This one kind of like.
Oh, the
right
one
up
that
here
is,
at
the white
upper
one,
left,
okay,
right?
yeah, yeah.
I'm wondering how much of a blind curve that is for people who are coming, 55 would be a low rate of speed, coming down 44, right? I'm wondering
Oh, no,
how,
that's not 44.
oh, what is that?
That's the
That's
access
off-
road for the cell tower.
For the cell
Oh,
tower.
for the cell tower? Oh,
That
so
goes up on top of the hill for the cell
Yeah,
tower,
that's on
yes.
top of the hill.
So
Yep.
where's 44 here then?
Here, if you look at her
They're
map,
behind
it
you.
shows it better.
Yeah.
It comes out where the existing driveway is now for the cell tower, directly across from the dam.
And this is the existing.
Oh, from Danford?
No, see where the dam is?
Dam?
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
That's a
okay.
dry dam, directly across it is the access road for the cell tower presently.
So, and then it curves up here, and this is the proposed.
Okay, all right. So I lose. So, my biggest concerns, and I'll step out of the road here, so I'm not, in your
Would
way.
you like to say?
No, my biggest concerns in this would be, people control. Because since I'm living kind of on the other side of the brook on that, and I'm anticipating you've got people who are enjoying themselves, and a 6-foot fence won't stop any good 6-year-old who would work their salt, you know. I'm just wondering how many people are gonna make it down across the brook to my property and start wandering around, and I'm gonna have to chase them out of there.
Totally understood.
Or what's happening with
Would you
that?
mind?
How do you do crowd control?
Would you mind if I step up and address
Go
that?
for it.
All right, perfect.
All right.
So, so we have a licensed security team on site at all times.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So we have a licensed security team on premises at all times. They're all, they have their blue cards, licensed through the Connecticut State Police. So I'll give you the rundown from what happens from the second a guest arrives to when they leave, how they're monitored and how they're controlled. So they pull into our driveway. They're met by a parking attendant right here. Right? The parking attendant will then direct them to one of the rows of parking spaces where they will meet an additional parking attendant. That parking attendant will then point them down that row to a third parking attendant who will physically be standing in front of the space with glow-in-the-dark wands, putting them right into the space. Then they get out and they say, thank you for coming tonight. They then direct them straight over to here where we will have our security wanding table. So our security staff will have metal detector wands that every guest who enters the premises will be wanded before they enter the attraction. Now, obviously the security staff here will be also overseeing the entire parking area. We have 3 parking attendants that, again, it's like clockwork, they know it like the back of their hand. And we've been doing this system for the past 4 years. And so they are literally being watched at 1, 2, 3 points from when they get out to their car, straight to security. So there is no way for them to just wander off. We have eyes everywhere in that vicinity. And of course, with the security wanding table being here, they have a direct line of sight to the property line if anyone were to try to make their way over. And in 4 years of operation, we haven't had any customers that have had any interest in going anywhere but the attraction. It's dark, out there, it's, middle of the night, they're not gonna want to go wander off into the woods. We've never experienced that issue. So then when they come from security, they go to the entertainment area, or the food truck area, I should say, where we have security monitoring as well. We have our ticket booth staff, we have supervisors roaming the premises at all times now. Myself, Christine, Tim there, we all have 2-way radios on us at all times in contact with security, with the ticket booth staff, with the parking staff. So we're all on a direct line of communication. So then they'll enter the queue into the attraction. Throughout the attraction, we have 30 live actors. We have scene supervisors who each cover one section of the attraction while in character blending right into the attraction with radios. We're all in contact. Now, we also have security circulating the perimeter of the attraction, queue, and food truck area. So there's a very, very well-established perimeter at all times.
And that sounds like more information that I wanted to hear.
Yes.
How they're trying to keep people from either tumbling to their deaths over that terrain or coming down into any other of the weird stuff that we encounter, because it is rugged terrain.
Oh no, and it's important for us too to make sure that we keep our our clientele safe, have a good experience. We don't want them wandering off.
So how do you make them happy and say bye-bye at the very end?
Yes.
Or if they're there like for another 30 minutes waiting for grandma and they're bored out of their skulls, what's keeping them from jumping that 6-foot fence?
So same thing, they'll come out, we have our parking staff as well. Now, part of the parking staff's responsibility is to monitor guests leaving, guests coming in, because they need to communicate, hey, we just had 3 spots open up in row C. Okay. So now they have to watch those guests coming out. So, because if they're not paying attention to the guests coming out, they're not gonna be ready to communicate to parking staff member A, who's gonna be funneling them, which row do I send the next one to? It's all a line of communication, we have to watch them come out.
Okay.
Yep.
I think that's the majority of my questions right there.
Excellent, thank you.
What's the total number of security people you'll have on?
Security, yeah, it depends on the night, anywhere from 3 to 4 per
Okay,
night. Yeah.
and total staff?
Total
That's
staff,
usually-
I wanna say 30.
I know it may be more, yeah.
Yeah, 30 actors, we have our ticket booth, so I wanna say, probably 40.
Yeah,
Any
just,
given- At any given time?
help answer his question. Oh, that's what, hear you, how many people you have for staff?
Yeah,
People looking over.
yeah, between security and, other staff,
Right.
we're probably 40, 45.
Okay.
Yep.
Any questions?
Yeah, I haven't, I feel like we haven't touched on the trash.
Would you like to sit? Okay. Yes.
We haven't really touched on trash, and I've been at a lot of rural construction sites where there's dumpsters with food, just people's lunch debris, whatever, pieces of paper. Like, Do you have a plan for making
There is a
sure that
plan.
bears and raccoons are not just going in that dumpster?
Yeah, yep.
Are you done?
That's
I
one
wanna make sure.
question. That's one question. Yeah.
No, okay, she talked about trash.
Please do.
Can you answer that?
I can, yes. So, yep, so,
I wasn't sure if the gentleman in the
Oh,
back
I'm
is
sorry,
with you.
Tim.
Let's,
Go
what
on,
if he's
speak.
the trash guy?
he's,
On top of his statement with people hanging out in the parking lots. Myself, Alex, we're always the last two to leave the parking lot, leave the premises, I should say. That way, we're walking the parking lot, picking up trash. B, we're physically kicking people out off the property, saying we gotta go. And that's about, and trash leaves in both of our trucks 90% of the time.
so to add,
The record, please.
Yeah.
Name?
Tim,
Tim, full.
Timothy Burby, B-U-R-B-Y.
Okay, thank you.
So,
So you don't have a trash collector, how do you dispose of your trash?
yeah, so in the comment with Torrington Area Health, did you see the comment from Torrington Area Health? Yep, so we have trash receptacles, 55-gallon garbage cans spaced from parking all the way to the security table, the food truck area, line of the attraction, we have them everywhere. So each night, what we will do is we will go and collect those, Tim and I, and we'll have a dumpster on site, and they will go into that dumpster. And then, per recommendation from Torrington Area Health District, they've recommended that we have a contract during, our season of operation with a trash removal, waste removal company to, empty out that dumpster, which, we are completely, 100% open to.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
That dumpster has a lid of some kind?
Yep, it would have a lid and a lock.
A lock.
Yes, a lid and a lock, yep.
And it would be emptied how often?
So after each weekend.
After each
Yes,
week?
after, yep, each week, yep. And if there is an excess of, trash, which again, to put this into perspective, these, the only source that's really generating trash is the food truck, right? Our garbage can in the queue, our garbage can in the parking area, by the security table. By the end of the weekend, there may be a quarter full. The one next to the food truck, obviously you're gonna have more there. That's the one that we are, emptying and, putting new liners in the most. So I don't see, even by the end of a weekend, this dumpster getting anywhere near full. It just won't be the case. But we also have our waste management plan submitted for the record as well. That goes into even further detail of how the locations of those receptacles, how we
That's okay,
monitor them.
just,
Yeah.
I think you need to make sure that you have a bear-proof thing, not one with a plastic lid that they can rip apart.
Of course.
Because you're gonna be a bear attraction.
Understood.
Well, besides just being a haunted house, you're gonna be a bear attraction. The bear's gonna take their garbage to your neighbors,
Through the woods, so.
through the woods.
They're approved.
So we've talked a lot about light and sound. I'm not gonna repeat. We do feel that it's unrealistic to think that we won't be impacted in October when the leaves are down. Our house sits at 990 and their parking and amusement is at 950-ish, 940, 950. So we're looking down across a leafless valley.
Direct line of sight from my bedroom.
Yeah, so we do strongly feel that we will be seeing this.
And also, I just don't have any faith in the deep decibel readings, I just don't think that's.
Well,
And anybody
we have neighbors 2 doors down, I'd say off the top of my head, probably 1,500 feet. They have gatherings, we have no problem with that, but we hear every word they say. Like, it's not like we can't hear that, and there's plenty of trees between, we can't see their house, we can't see the light from their house, but we can hear when they have 10 friends over. So it's not so much the amusement and displays themselves that we're concerned about, it's 1,000 people being in the woods at, each night. That's our real concern. We have no problem with what you guys are gonna do from artistic perspective and the
Yeah.
things you can control, but
We understand that.
it feels a
Yep.
little naive to assume that 1,000 humans a night are gonna always behave well, be quiet, no one's car needs a muffler. There's a steady, you have a time sequence, so there's literally cars coming in every 15 minutes, half an
Half
hour.
hour, yeah,
Like it's
half
a
hour.
steady flow of headlights coming from 44 down, I don't know what
It's
it
literally
is.
impossible that we will not see.
Yeah, that I think is our perspective, that it's impossible to say that we will not be impacted by that we won't notice it, so, sound and light. We're also concerned about forest fires. I mean, I think everyone in the room is probably aware that, it burned in Canaan, it burned in Barrington, it burned in Washington, it burned in Berlin, like, all of those are happening at droughty end of season time. Exactly.
You guys are in high season
Yeah.
drought.
Yeah, and, we have a lot of dead standing ash, now we have a lot of dead standing beech. It is really a rising concern in the state, and inserting a diesel generator and diesel lighting, and how many cars in a night, how many humans in a night into the middle of a wooded area that's never been controlled. There's, in preserved land, they actually control for fire. They harvest accordingly, timber control, that hasn't been done in any of these, your 63 acres, our 7 acres, the adjoining state, it's a lot of fuel.
Can I
in that.
add something to that?
Yeah.
So obviously, before opening each season, the fire department comes and does a full walk-in inspection of the entire premises. There are regulations for how far the generator needs to be placed from any type of structure, any type of brush, any type of vegetation, the diesel light tower, even how far the generator would need to be, that portable one that a food truck would bring. So all of that is inspected prior to opening. Now also, we have codes, for the attraction adherence. That's why we have fire extinguishers every 75
But
feet.
is there fire extinguisher? I mean, what happens if a spark goes in the woods and it's a windy night?
We have fire extinguishers every 75
A
feet.
fire extinguisher is not gonna control a fire.
It does. This site will be, the fire marshal will come and inspect the site and improve the site. If they think that the generator's in the wrong location, they'll have them do some mitigation. We've already talked before about expanding the cleared area around there. I think you've got a bigger walkway now around.
I do.
So, I think the fire issue is probably not that much more than if a house was there having a campfire. Now, there's other issues, but I think the fire issue is just probably not much more than that.
So, I think our biggest concern is expansion of this commercial venture in a rural residential zone. And I know that you guys have said that there will be annual meetings, and I think we'd like more information on what that looks like. So does that mean that before they can take on more patrons, they have to ask, or does that mean that, oh, great, we had an extra 500 people,
The
6
parking lot's
nights?
gonna be limited in size. Is that something to say?
No, just that any sort of revision to a permit needs to come back to this commission, if I'm correct.
Yeah,
Does
I
that
mean,
include other events throughout?
Like if all of a sudden he wants to do a Christmas thing, like in the same facility, is that something that requires a second special
so
permit?
I can speak to that, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
So a special permit is for a specific use.
Okay,
In this case, it's going to be specific to this use, this configuration of the site,
okay.
and for essentially the number of days that we're being told. So we're being told 14 to 16 days in a year.
Yeah,
We're going to require, I have a whole host of conditions to propose to you guys later on. One of the things that I'm gonna propose to the commission is that annually, they come to the staff and get a zoning permit, so that annually, before they open, we'll verify that any modifications to the configuration of the walkthrough itself sort of fits within what's been approved by the commission. There's no changes to the site with regard to parking. We'll get the fire chief involved, the fire marshal, the police chief, all the entities that need to be involved. We'll have that kind of annual review, not to the commission, but to the staff members. And if we see an adjustment, or if, you know, if Alex, the group in the future says, well, all right, we think we're gonna get a little bit bigger, we're gonna expand the walk-through area, so therefore we're gonna expand the parking area, that comes back to the commission. We can't approve that. If Alex and the group says, hey, we got the 63 acres and we wanna do X, Y, and Z on part of it, or we wanna use this portion for a Christmas thing, that comes back to the commission, because it's outside the scope of what's being approved, or what's being asked for.
Clarifying,
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
that familiar with
Special
the
permits, just
special
for anybody that's out there, special permits are very specific. And once you step outside that box, it comes back to the commission.
So any change of use
Yeah,
would
yeah,
require
and any,
a second.
yeah, it would be a modification to that permit, and any major, you know, any significant changes to that plan need to come back as well. Minor stuff, you know, they're gonna reorient the walkthrough every year.
Turn a wall here if that's
Yeah,
there.
that's all kind of minor stuff.
Yeah.
But, you know, the parking lot gets bigger, you know, that area expands, any of those bigger things will come back to the commission.
Anybody else got any questions, comments?
I got one, Alex, on the gate that's
Yes.
at the end of the state property.
Yes.
Is that gonna remain, or will that be
That's-
moved, will that be moved up to the access road further?
Nope, that's gonna remain. It's just gonna be widened by, we're gonna
Okay, I was
move
just
one.
gonna say, that's
Yeah,
only a 20
yeah,
foot,
we're gonna
but
keep it
there
in
will be a
place.
gate, that gate will still remain there.
That will
Okay.
remain, and then we're gonna put, oh, I'm sorry. Did you
No,
want-
no, no,
No.
no, it's on the site plan
Yeah.
too,
Yeah.
just for the record.
Okay,
And then where the where the road that we will be adding in begins, we're actually gonna put a temporary, like, construction style barrier with cones and,
okay,
you know,
you'll have
so
your
that,
road con-
so they don't go up
maintained
the cell
also.
tower road.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, no,
Yes.
just wondered, I
Yes.
just wondered if that was gonna stay
Yep.
or not, I didn't see it on the print, so.
Minor question, I don't know how relevant it is, but
Yeah.
in the written summary of what you presented, you said it was 1.2 acres that were gonna be cleared.
Mhm.
Is that really the case for all of what we're looking at, the road work, the regrading, infiltration, food court, like what's the total area of disruption?
Sorry, I'm just checking the.
That's okay.
We have a construction sequence and the general principles of erosion control on our last page. Should typically have it. I don't have it here, but if you want, I can, give you a rough estimate, if you give me a minute. Sorry.
So where did we land on when it's actually closing? Like, I keep hearing the last time, the last show, the last tickets, but like, is there possible to have like a hard, at this time, these nights, whatever,
Yeah.
if you wanna do it different, and
Yeah.
you know that it's just that.
Yeah, so 10 o'clock is the last time slot.
But I don't know what that means for
so,
when
yeah.
actually the lights are out and there's
Yeah,
nobody there.
so at the
anymore.
very latest, it would be 10:30. At the latest, cut off.
The whole circuit through?
Everything,
How,
everything.
How long is the circuit through the display?
Anywhere from 20 to 25 minutes.
And then it only takes people 5 minutes to walk back and forth and get in their car and leave?
20,
And then
25.
You guys walk through after, because that seems very quick.
No, so as I explained before, our supervisor follows the last group through. So as that last group is going through, we have a supervisor relieving the staff along the way, literally 10 feet from where I am to
No,
where
I
the meeting is.
heard that.
Yeah, so once that last group is out, we could power off the lights of the attraction.
But if it's 25 minutes from when it starts, they have to walk through it, that takes 25 minutes, they still have to get back to their car,
Yeah.
figure out where they're going, blah,
Yep.
blah, blah.
It's about-
It's an amusement, it's recreation.
It's about 5 minutes to get from, from once they come out of the queue to
So
the.
realistically, maybe more like 45 minutes after the last ticket is sold?
No, I'm gonna say 10:30. Yeah, 10:30. I mean, we have, Christine and Tim would be able to vouch. We, had 10:30 when,
10:30 all traffic on site.
You guys done like.
And on Sundays, 10 o'clock.
Okay.
and on Sundays 10 o'clock.
We just want a hard
Yeah.
definitive,
Yes.
not like how long,
Yes.
All right.
how you do your thing is not my concern, but
Yeah.
if you tell me 10:30 is
Yeah.
when you're done, then
Yes.
at 10:30.
Oh yeah.
All right, we've discussed that already.
Yep. Yep.
I got
Sir.
one last dumb question. I can imagine this area that you flattened and now made nice with all the gravel and stuff, being very attractive to the hunters and our homeless dudes and whoever else, come next June. What's keeping that from becoming kind of a quasi-territorial encampment for people passing through?
Oh, yeah, I mean, obviously we'll have security cameras, you know, on site at all times that detect motion the second something even happens there.
Including next June?
I'm sorry?
Including next June?
Wait,
Like, you guys are now off-site, all there is this big fabulous parking lot, and.
yeah. Oh, we haven't touched the property yet.
Right.
No, what he
I'm
means is
talking
what's gonna
next
stop this from being a homeless encampment.
Oh, I see, yeah.
We're near your room.
So, I'm sorry, yeah, so we're there, we are there constantly. So even though, you know, we don't operate outside of the fall season,
Right.
you know, I'm in and out at least 2 to 3 days a week throughout the off season, making adjustments, you know, checking it, even during the winter, you know, in the off months when we're not able to do, I'm going there, checking, make sure there's no damage, you know, from snowstorms, whatnot. We constantly have foot traffic, whether it's myself, my staff, on and off the premises at all times. We'll have
Okay.
security cameras as well, and yes,
And that gate will still be up on the,
of course.
No,
Gates.
well, I mean, that's a gate also for the cell tower area. I mean, it's not a, it's
And
not
that's
a,
actually
The
another,
hunters are gonna go right through that. They like water.
I mean.
oh, if they walk up through there?
Yeah.
Well, they're trespassing.
Yeah, I mean, these people
get
own that
arrested.
property.
And the cell company too is out there, you know, periodically too, going up and down for maintenance for the tower. I'm sure they're on a very strict maintenance schedule on the cell tower too. Yeah.
I did a rough calculation, 1.5 acres, so give me 10 to 15%, but out of 65 acres, piece of property. That's what we're clearing.
And did you guys explore areas that were not exactly on the setback line? As you have 65 acres to work with, was there anywhere that wasn't like 35 feet from a residential property line?
Topography wise, this is the ideal location.
So it's cheaper to do it here.
But they're staying, the setbacks are what, 45 feet, I think?
35 feet.
35?
They are exactly at the setback.
Yeah, they're,
Yeah. As legally, they have to be.
yeah, right.
Yes. But it's not like, there's no buffer. There's nowhere for that to go to get bigger or, you know, tight. And it's a big property, so I just wanted
But
to see if it was.
you have the fence for the buffer on the parking area
Mhm.
and 6-foot high fence.
Yeah,
So,
But yeah, which you could just walk right around. You have to take a pee.
Oh,
right
oh,
around the fence.
oh, okay.
You know, it's not, it just ends right
Also,
there.
that wasn't, she got a question there. That wasn't on your site plan. Where are your facilities gonna be?
Yeah, so they're gonna be in the, food truck area, yes.
In the
Next to
food truck
those.
area?
Yep, see those two blue sheds, the 8x10 sheds, within the vicinity of those blue sheds in that area, in the food truck area.
That's where the porta pots will be.
Correct, and a portable hand wash station as well.
Okay, so they'll be off the pathway and off the radius. They won't be in the radius itself. Okay.
And same thing with the sheds as well.
Yeah, I noticed the sheds there.
Yes, yeah.
See that?
So I know I've said a lot and I'm not gonna say more. I would like to submit this. This is some of our thoughts. And, you know, and say that we don't support this at all. And we're considering appealing, certainly if you guys approve it and hiring an attorney. And we don't think that in reading the code about what is allowed, and it's not our decision, obviously, yeah, it's up to you guys, but we don't think that this entertainment meets those codes.
So do you wanna submit those to us? Is that, or you wanna read them, or?
No, they're too long. I don't
Okay.
want- I mean, I will
So
if
do
you
you have
want me
multiple
to.
copies? Do you have multiple copies?
I have one copy of each.
One copy of
Yep.
each?
I can make more.
Submit them, yeah.
Y'all want individual copies?
Good, yeah.
Yeah.
You could.
Thank you, we appreciate you.
Just send them, email them to us.
I can email them to you guys, yeah.
Well-
I would have emailed them,
Are
but
we trying to
I
make
had
a
only
If you don't need
one
them
email.
right now, then we'll just take it for the record.
Well,
Yeah.
we might need them if we're gonna vote on
We
it
don't need
tonight,
anything.
or we're gonna continue the public hearing.
Well,
Then
do we need to wait for the other, do we need to wait for the other reviews Who said it, you or?
Yeah, we have not received any additional comment from the fire chief at this point.
Right.
If you want us to solicit comment from him, we'll get it.
Yes.
Yes,
Peter's
and the
at
police
it.
chief, especially the fire chief.
Yeah, then,
All right, so
police
then-
chief's been hard to get comments out of, but we'll
Well,
do
I
our
tried,
best.
but he is a town employee.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sure our applicant would be perfectly happy
Yeah.
to make that a condition of approval of continued coordination and submitting, approval letters and, any back and forth with the commission too.
and we can do it that way too, if you wanna do a condition of approval, that's fine.
How many days have we got left for the public hearing to
Oh,
continue?
it's in your packet, in your.
Yes, I thought it was, I could see that.
I gotta look it up, I don't remember. So your 35 days ended June 1st. We got an extension request from the applicant, which got us to tonight. So there's 43 days available of extensions, but that has to come from the applicant
Oh,
to
okay.
keep the hearing open.
But as of right now, we're at the deadline
Yeah,
tonight,
yeah.
without an extension. Okay.
Now, you have 65 days once the hearing closes to make a decision, so you've got plenty of time to make a decision. The applicant knows, we talked about that
Yeah.
a couple of days ago about the timeline.
Okay.
And I think I would be comfortable closing the public hearing if, I think, some of the comments from the fire chief might be relatively minor and we can address those through a condition. Because we've already talked about some of them during the public hearing.
And you stated that you have talked to the fire.
So I actually, yes, I spoke to both the fire marshal and the fire chief, and the way that they explained it to me was that anything that they submit right now is purely recommendation, as they cannot officially sign off on something until the site walk is done prior to opening. So I imagine what you would see from them is pretty similar to what was already on the previous.
Did you talk to the police chief
I
also?
did, and
Yeah.
so actually Chief Ciusi told me he has nothing further to say about it, it's all up to the commission. So I asked him for additional comment in the past, and he said, he goes,
Okay.
I don't see a need for anything
Okay.
else. So basically, he wants it to be in the commission's hands on his end.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of where they are on that.
Okay.
But I think if we closed the public hearing, maybe had some time to read through the material that was submitted, spend some time maybe having staff draft a motion, we can look at it at the next meeting for decision.
So you had a bunch of stuff from the draft motion?
Yeah, I have a bunch of conditions that I've put together before tonight, and as we were going through the conversation, I can pull those up on the screen if you're interested in
Okay.
seeing what I've got so
Yeah.
far.
Make sure we can still discuss this where we're at.
Yeah, I think it makes
Oh, I'm
sense,
not-
I think it
I'm
makes
not
sense to
seated
discuss
tonight.
conditions while we have the
fine.
public hearing open. and the
Public
applicant
hearing's
can
still open though.
Respond.
So we're just talking about
Well,
it.
I'm gonna zoom in for you.
Just gonna
I
make a
can,
motion.
I'll read these out.
You're gonna send me these as well?
Yeah,
Mr. Chairman? Okay.
most of them you've already got, but some of them.
Oh,
are
from the staff
tonight.
review letter,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
Number one, applicant shall submit an application for a zoning permit on an annual basis on or around June 1st. Any and all changes should be noted on a revised site plan indicating the new layout of the walkthrough area and other site changes. Number two, significant changes to the site is determined by the zoning enforcement officer, or subject to review by the Planning and Zoning Commission, and may require modification of the special permit. Number three, fire marshal and building official shall review the site plan on an annual basis as required. The applicant shall submit any necessary permit applications. Number four, pre-event site walkthrough shall be conducted annually with fire marshal, building official, police chief, fire chief, and any other authority having jurisdiction annually prior to opening for the season. Number five, the emergency vehicle access point shall be reviewed on site by the fire chief, police chief. Any changes requested by either shall be made and approved by town staff prior to opening each season. Number six, applicant shall be responsible for maintaining site distances for the access drive at Route 44 by trimming brush or other remedies as may be needed from time to time. I think we've determined that that's not necessary right now, but it might be needed in the future.
And that's also been discussed with
DOT is
DOT
gonna
already.
require it
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
The event shall conclude and the site shall be closed no later than 10:30 PM on Fridays and Saturdays and 10 PM on Sundays. A fence shall be installed along the north side of the parking lot at sufficient height to block any headlight glare from entering neighboring properties along Coast Street, subject to approval by CEO. This was a condition that I had prior to the new site plan coming in, that we could probably eliminate that condition because it's shown on the site plan, which you're.
But what
which
if
you've
the
been asked to
what if the
review.
6 foot isn't high enough? In other words, they'll do a traffic,
Yeah, I was gonna
Light.
request, like an as-built verification that
Yeah.
there's no light trespass.
Well, and that certification, when it's completed, should be given to town hall staff.
Yep, okay, so let me get through these and then
Okay.
we'll go back to it. Erosion sedimentation control bond related to the access road and parking lot construction is to be submitted at the time of Winchester prior to the start of construction and amount to be determined by town staff. Engineer of record shall certify that the road and related construction has been completed to specifications prior to the beginning of operation. A hammerhead turnaround shall be created at the south end of the pedestrian access path to allow for emergency vehicle turnaround. Any and all light towers shall not be extended to be higher than 16 feet above grade. Light towers to be used shall be reviewed and approved by the CEO to ensure compliance with the zoning regulations each year during the annual review. Decibel readings shall be taken and provided to the town of the event area prior to operation on an annual basis. And this is Alex and I've had this conversation about running the thing sort of with all the sound effects on, getting decibel readings before it opens annually and being able to report those back.
That should be at the property line.
It can be at the property line if that's where you want it to be, if that makes
Oh,
sense.
okay, yeah.
I think
So-
that, I think that would make the most sense.
There's a
That would
noise,
make the most
hold on.
sense.
Yeah.
There's a noise ordinance,
Yeah.
and it's 45
Yes,
for
45 at night,
nighttime,
55 during the
55
day.
day, and
Yep.
it's measured 1 foot beyond the property line.
Yep.
So it's all written down, we don't have to do
So
anything.
it's part of the ordinance.
Yep.
So, one extra thing about the noise.
Thanks.
Let's get a noise decibel reading up there, pre-construction, at a normal time, like with traffic and everything going by, so you know now what your noise your base noise level is.
Yep.
So,
I suspect the largest, the highest source of noise is gonna be a truck coming down that hill,
Yep.
hitting the Jake brake.
oh yeah,
Jake brake comes on.
That's,
there's,
I can hear
there's
him at
one
my
every,
house.
yeah.
44.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
It's about
get
80,
get a
85
base
decibels.
noise level so you know what you're dealing with now.
Yep.
That's where,
Where do you want that taken on the property?
go ahead.
May I just, I know, I'm sorry, this is,
No, that's why we're doing this.
okay, could we do just in compliance with town ordinance?
Yeah.
So we're held to the same, requirements as,
and the ordinance can change, right? Just beware.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think we're comfortable with that. And then,
Can I make a statement, please?
All right, go ahead.
It's only part of the picture if you do that before the actual event, because the traffic, the noise of people talking and exciting conversation is definitely gonna contribute to the overall.
Right, but if you get a base noise level now,
That helps. Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah.
you'll know what was there before.
Before they operate.
Before we started.
And at those times of day, because we were just remarking this weekend how quiet it was
Right.
at 9 o'clock.
it's
There
gonna,
is no traffic really at Saturday night, 9 o'clock on 44.
just to add a little bit to, when you're talking about decibel readings, pre-construction versus pre-operation
Right.
are different.
Like-
Because there's different, like the site conditions will impact.
So the idea is to get a baseline of where we are today, and then once construction is complete and they're ready to get open for the season, do it with the event sort of running with no people, to get that baseline of, okay, where are we with the event sort of operational but no people in there, so that if we get a complaint, we can, and we can have them go out there, put their decibel readings out on a Saturday night when they're super busy, and they can come back at whatever that decibel reading is, and we can say, okay, you're way above where you were, you're at, or whatever it
I
is. So we have a
just don't-
baseline.
I just wanna make sure that like, we're not, this, how do I put it?
So what I'm trying to say is, if the noise level from Route 44
Yeah,
exceeds the noise level you're supposed to be creating, then you can't bring your noise level down low enough to get.
Right, you can't
No,
control
I-
what the.
That's true.
I understand what you're saying, I wanna make sure, because this is gonna be the legal document, that we're not,
Yeah, it's,
putting us against match existing conditions, noise conditions.
if 44 is exceeding
No.
what you're creating, you can't do anything.
Right,
You
exactly.
can't lower yours enough to get below 44 right now.
Exactly, I understand, but like, sites can be developed, that doesn't mean that
Mhm.
any sites can't contribute noise, I just
Right,
want
right,
to,
right.
Okay, so we're on the same page,
Well,
Okay.
44 can be noisy
yes.
when the trailer trucks come into town, especially when the speed cameras go into effect.
They're gonna be hitting that Jake brake hard.
They're gonna hit it
Are they putting them on
through.
44?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
And then just one comment about, comment 11. If it is okay with the commission, I'd like to show that we can provide emergency access, turnaround vehicle for an ambulance, using a program that we generate. So we'll determine if a hammerhead is necessary.
Okay, so I'll add if needed.
Yeah, please. If that's okay with, of course.
Let me just read the last
Uh,
couple of
So
these.
I think I would just say if determined needed for emergency services. You know, not just, the needed is for emergency.
I think that hammerhead should be there regardless.
Well, if their turning radius shows that it can fit though, I would say what we would probably be looking for is park the food truck in that radius, park all your other stuff in there, and then run that calculation and see if it can be turned around.
And we can keep everything, Peter, if you don't mind, everything in the food truck area, we could keep outside that, perimeter if you'd like. Any food truck, any shed, any portal, anything we could keep
Right.
on the outside. So that,
It is a safety issue, so.
yeah.
Jeremy, one question I had for number 5. Yeah.
On that light tower, the one you have with the light tower with the lighting, that should possibly with either down-facing lights or some type of shield.
Yeah, I'm just
So they
trying-
do make a shield for the top of them to keep it up out of the sky. depending
Yeah,
on
I
the
think
type.
that's, well, that is sort of, this is sort of a catch-all, right? Is to,
Right.
to get the spec to the CEO for review to make sure that it's compliant with the regs. So we can add that specificity, but I think it's just gotta be part of the zoning permit that, okay, this is the tower we're using and here's the heads that we're putting on it, and it's gotta be reviewed and approved by staff.
So we're sitting here, why?
Not comfortable with that?
Why are we sitting here then?
Well-
Up here, that's right, I mean, I'm just saying.
Okay.
We're putting it all in one person, and if they hire a new zoning enforcement officer or someone part-time, what experience do they have?
They've got to
And
adhere to
that
the
person may
same-
be inspecting it.
Okay.
We're the ones doing the
Which
regulations.
has happened,
So-
Yeah,
Huh?
I mean,
which has happened.
Well, it does.
Yeah.
And this is Winston.
So,
I've
and you're
been
right,
here too many years.
There's gonna be,
Yeah.
you always have that potential, but you created the regulations. And so
That's
the
right.
idea here
Yes.
is that they're reviewing it to ensure that they're
Right.
compliant with the regulations that you've already set.
Right,
So we can add it, that's fine. It's
right,
just-
but we're also setting conditions.
You are.
I'm curious about the decibel levels, who takes those measurements?
The what?
The decibel levels, like who,
That's in the town ordinance.
no,
Those
but
are
I mean, I just don't know the technology, but like,
Professional.
do these guys just go and take them and report them to you, or does someone come out from the town and measure those things? Is
Well,
that
to
like
make
a-
it official, it probably have to be done by the engineering services, if they have a decibel company,
'cause, you
or a
know,
person that can go
Amazon,
do it.
You could probably
So
order
we have
really
it,
cheap,
you know,
really everywhere.
you have somebody that can do that?
I mean, I think we would handle that just like any other noise complaint.
Yeah,
We're asking them to submit it to us for compliance, and if there's complaints.
well, what I'm trying to avoid is 44 creating more noise than they are.
No, I understand
Yeah.
that, but I think to say, now we want them to hire an engineering company, at some point, we're a town, we deal with noise complaints all the time. They have to submit to us their decimal levels. If they're, not correct, or we get complaints, we'll handle it like any other noise complaint that we do. I think, we wanna make sure that you're operating under certain levels, that we have, that baseline. Cause I think that's a very valid point, but if, you think that the decibel levels are wrong and that it's too noisy, you can call town hall just like you would, anybody else would, and make a complaint, and we'll address it.
Yeah, it's actually because it's a noise ordinance, it's a
right.
police matter.
Right.
It's not even a zoning enforcement.
So I don't think we should try to get into that enforcement, I just think they have
Out
to
of
be
our hands.
compliant.
That's
Totally.
the advantage to having a noise ordinance in town, so many
Right.
towns don't have them, so. it's
Yeah,
police
a lot,
matter.
Right.
yeah.
Because when there's issues at the lake, the police
Yeah.
have to enforce it.
And
It's
they'll
nothing
come
that
out and
phone
shut
can-
down if it's
Right.
too
Yes.
loud, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious, like, so then the police have a decibel? I just don't know anything about how.
Yeah, I assume they do. I mean, I've had one as a zoning enforcement officer, I've dealt with this issue in the past, and we had applications that came in and we had neighbors that were very concerned, and I had a decibel reading tool, and I would go down and check on it, and 99% of the time, there was never an issue. Yeah, so, actually, in that
most
case,
homes
it was
have
like
one.
100% of the time, so.
I wouldn't trust the phone one, but.
Exactly.
So,
Do you have a
back
question
to
on
number,
five?
it was actually number 4. You know, I think this is good. But what I wanna be careful of, and I don't know the right wording, you know, I don't want, I mean, that's a lot of town resources and staff, right? So it's them or their appointee, or if they don't feel they need to go in 10 years because they've been doing this, right? I don't want them not to be able to open. I think we need to schedule the event, make sure that we have any walkthrough, and any official who wishes to attend, you know, is allowed to, right? it's not that we have to tell the police chief, we're not here sitting telling the police chief how he has to spend his day and what he has
Or
to
the
do.
designated official,
Right, like,
Right.
like,
because
you
they
know.
have to do this with all the camps before they can open in the summer, they have to do it other
But
special large
some of that
events.
is like state statute stuff, it's not the planning and zoning commission telling them,
Right. No.
right? Like, if they feel they need to do that, we want that opportunity, we wanna schedule a walkthrough.
But it should be in the conditions.
And any official who feels, you know, wants to attend has the ability to do the pre.
Do you wanna just say town staff, and then that's sort of broad enough to include all of those individuals?
Yeah, I mean, like, I know.
However, that's what I'm saying, I think if you had some time to think of,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
but,
okay.
cause I don't think it's up to us to be telling the fire chief and the fire marshal what they have to do.
Right.
And when I spoke to, you know, Chief Field and, you know, Mr. Legassi, they mentioned something that, hey, maybe we could do like a joint site walk with, you know, the ambulance, with, you know, the building official, with the fire
Well,
department.
that's what I would envision, right? You do a
Yeah.
site walk, everybody shows up and does it.
Yeah.
If we've done it for 10 years and there's no issues, I don't want you not to be able to open because
Understood.
the fire marshal doesn't wanna walk through.
But I foresee this way out not being the same in 10 years.
Well, but then it
I
might just
see
be the
them-
fire
I see
marshal, it
them-
might not be the fire
Yes,
chief, right?
right,
That's what
right,
I'm saying.
right. That's why I think the walkthrough is good.
Oh, yeah.
I think the walkthrough's good, but we
You'll be rebuilding probably every year
Yeah.
as you
You'll
go
have
along.
different sets.
Right, I mean, in our
different
industry,
walkways.
that's standard, you know,
Yeah,
fire
that's
marshals,
standard.
every year there's an inspection, it's
Yeah.
standard.
Town staff and emergency services personnel.
Personnel, yep, as needed.
But-
As needed,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I'll play with
Okay.
that language a little bit. I get where you're coming from, Rista, it's kinda like, you're right, this is a lot of people that are in the condition, and what happens if the police chief decides, I can't go?
Right.
You know, and we've been there 15 times, cause it's year 15, and I don't need to walk that site
Which is the
again.
thing, I mean, I know haunted attractions where, you know, they've been in their locations for, like you said, 10, 15 years, where the town just knows at that point, yeah, you know what you're doing, we're good.
Yeah,
You know,
okay,
so
so
that's,
we'll
yeah.
play with
However
that.
you guys wanna handle that, that's fine.
There was comment about the fence earlier, so I wanted to go back to you,
I
Al.
was gonna wait, but.
Well, I think,
All right,
nobody
so-
else did, so we're.
All right, a fence should be installed. I think the point of the fence is to block the light, so light
Yes.
trespass. And so it looks to be that the plan, if built a plan, it should work, right? Barring any surprises, I think there should be as-built verification that there is no light trespass. And should we consider allowing them to install a fence higher than 6 feet now to ensure that there is no light trespass? So can we let them install a fence up to 8 feet? You know, is what I was considering,
Well,
just to make sure.
it says at sufficient height to block.
Well, I know, it's
So
over
it-
6 feet, you gotta get a permit, right?
Yeah, just
So,
requires building.
as part of this permit, let's allow
Even up
them to
there?
build up to a certain height. You know, to ensure that there's no light trespass.
I mean,
Yeah, with the fence they finally installed up there, do you remember? That was 8 feet, I believe.
8 feet, yeah, they had to get a building permit
Yeah,
for that.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
they went 8 feet with that fence.
Yeah, and
And that did.
it's pretty successful.
It
Yeah.
was very successful, it stopped the problem with the lights with the neighbors, so.
Yeah.
Question back there.
To go back on the fence, ahead of the fence, what if we do 20-foot arborvitae's along the fence stops? Any light protruding through the fence.
Yeah, we could do arborvitae.
Takes time to establish.
But, so, I mean, the other thing, and I think that it's very, important that we don't shine headlights in people's houses, right? I think the idea that nobody's gonna see any light from this is unrealistic. This is a privately owned piece of property that's gonna have some development on it, whether it's a house or a elderly house, complex or an apartment building, there's gonna be some light. I don't think we're gonna shield, it's gonna be different, right? This is a private piece of property going up for some sort of development, you're gonna see something. Our job is to make sure we're protecting the public health, safety, and welfare. We don't want, significant noise. We don't want, spotlights shining in people's windows. We don't want, there's certain things we're trying to protect here. But to think that they're not gonna see any light, I think would be unrealistic. And, so where that corner is almost 2,000 feet away from their house. So, I think some fencing, we could allow for an 8-foot fence if they thought it was needed once they got there. I think maybe some landscaping. But 2,000 feet is kind of I don't know exactly if it's 2,000 feet there, but it's 1,300 to the edge of the parking lot. I think it's,
Make sure it's solid.
I don't know. I mean, I think that we wanna,
So Jeremy, the gentleman in the back asked about arborvitaes. Could they plant arborvitaes in the 35-foot setback area?
The 35-foot setback area refers to buildings. They could do their parking area, they could do the roadway within the 35-foot setback area. So yeah, they could plant, absolutely, yeah.
So, stand up, and you spoke about arborvitaes.
Yeah, just plant, it's natural to the earth, we're adding more oxygen in.
Right, but you was talking about 20-foot ones?
Yeah, you can get 10-foot arborvitaes that grow up to 30 feet tall.
Right, but kinda hard to get 10-footers planted.
No, please, don't make us do that.
What I was just gonna suggest is maybe, no, never mind, I'm not gonna say anything.
I think with the distance away from the nearest development, a river, the topography, there is a significant buffer between our development. I call it development because I call everything development, sorry, that's my field, and the next residential, home. I think when we're really talking about, exactly to everyone's point, doing anything in the woods, if you had a bonfire in the woods, you're gonna have light trespass. Developments, just being there is gonna cause noise, gonna cause light, and I just don't see how, I think the fence is gonna work better than 8-foot arborvitae that are planted every 10 feet distance.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, even when you're driving your car, on a highway, right? You think about how far your headlights illuminate in front of you. You're not looking at 2,000 feet. You're looking at more like 300 to 500 feet at tops with high beams, So I think to illuminating, a residence at 2,000 feet away, that's, like Megan had mentioned, I don't see that being a concern.
So do we get to the end of your list there?
Oh, I don't know. We got the decibel readings. Okay, copy of the approval from CONDOT for the use of the driveway shall be submitted to the town, and a bear-resistant dumpster shall be provided for trash collection.
Now, you had something?
but
Peter?
to Adam's point, I think if we wanted to put, so they don't, if they determine that an 8-foot fence is needed, or they wanna put up an 8-foot fence, I wouldn't be opposed to it, right? So what I think you're saying is in this condition, put
Give them the
an
flexibility.
8-foot fence would be allowed
If needed.
if needed.
On an
Yeah.
if-needed
Right, so
basis.
instead of having them come back for another
Right.
public
And
hearing.
I think it says of sufficient height right now.
It
Yeah,
does.
it does. I think that's what you have written there.
And, you know, the other thing that I'll add is, and it's just for your consideration, but, you know, and we've been through this before with other applications where we talk about fencing and existing vegetation to block headlights and things on development sites. We don't, there's nothing, I'm just going through it again tonight to sort of check myself. There's nothing in here that sort of requires a vegetated buffer of any specific width from any of our uses. In this case, the applicant is showing essentially it's gonna be a little bit less than 35 feet, probably a 30-ish foot existing vegetated buffer that exists on that property line. So, you know, they're exceeding any kind of requirements that we have right now. So just, again, consideration. Yeah, so sufficient height, I think that would allow them to go to 8 feet if they felt that.
Go up to what? 8 feet?
8 feet, I mean,
Limits at what?
Yeah, and I would just make
I
it,
don't even know if it,
yeah.
I'd have to look, I'm not sure there is.
I would just make it clear that they don't have to come back for a special exception if the higher fence is needed.
Yeah.
Just the building permit.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
we'd have to go through building department for that.
Yeah.
Zoning permit after, what is it? I think it's 8 feet for zoning and buildings.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Higher than 6 feet, huh?
Yeah,
Got
it's
it.
higher than, I think it's 7 now. They
7
changed
now?
the building code
Okay.
a couple years
I
ago.
don't think so.
Got it.
Yeah, I have just a couple things to add to that for, you can discuss it. You had about the renewal of zoning permit yearly.
Yep.
And it'll be operation limited to maximum of 16 days per year, unless revised.
The list grows. She's looking at the list. I don't know.
No, I'm sorry. It's just,
You're tired, I can tell.
we're over 12 hours in, we're fine.
Long day.
12, that's it? Come on.
Yeah, you're right.
She's pregnant too. That's like 14 hours.
Okay, that one there. As far as the roadway, it should be a minimum of 22 feet wide from the state road all the way to the food truck area.
Our site plans show 22-foot wide, from the right-of-way, but we have to go down to 20 feet,
Why?
because of the break in the non-access easement.
The break well?
So this is a DOT.
Yeah.
So there is a 20-foot break, so that DOT allows us to
Yeah.
access our property, no more than 20 feet.
That's not in their letter.
No.
It says, no.
'Cause that's from District 4.
Right, oh, we're saying 22 feet.
So in the email correspondence with Property Management Division, she does specify that we have a 20-foot, which was, I submitted prior to our first public hearing. It's in the portal. The email does specify a 20-foot break in the non-access from Property Management Division of DOT.
Right, but we can specify 22 feet
You cannot,
on your property. Why?
because they won't give it to us.
Well, then for 10 feet of it, it's 20 feet, and the rest is 22 feet on the rest of your property. Because the state can't dictate on your property what,
They actually can't.
not the whole road.
They can't act, they have specified because of this special roadway that we cannot build the driveway in any other location rather than
No, you
this.
can't build it in any other location,
And
correct.
only
I would like to see that in
20
writing
feet.
from DOT before we give any approvals, that you cannot expand at 22 feet the whole roadway.
Some of our town roads aren't 22 feet. I mean, some of our side roads are 20 feet. You know, I think, I don't know, that's just a lot more cost and
Well,
going
you're
back to.
talking 120 cars
I know, but what
Right.
does our,
in and out, and you're also talking
Our
ambulance
pub-
possible, police cars possible, and a fire truck or two.
I think that's what I'm
I
looking
think,
for.
I think you should factor speed into that too, though. I mean, residential streets, most of them
Well,
are either 20 or 22.
Look at the steepness of the grade, you're talking almost a 15% grade for a major portion of that going down to the parking lot.
May I add as well that a big part of my discussion with the fire marshal and the fire chief was specifically mentioning the 20-foot width of that, driveway and making sure that was sufficient.
Yep.
And went over that multiple times. They didn't have any concern. They were, and actually, Jeremy, I know we spoke about it with Mr. Legassi in your office as well. You know, they did not express any concern, you know, with the 20-foot width.
This is kind of a commercial operation, and I believe we require more than 20 feet for commercial driveways, don't we?
You don't, 20 feet. is
20
your-
feet is our commercial driveway. All right, I'd still like something in writing from DOT that it can't be expanded.
If I may, I believe this has been
Mhm.
submitted to.
It is on the record.
Yes, so this is a deed, so this is a non-access highway, meaning that even if you could buy, I just have another one in a different town.
Mhm.
DOT won't let you access your property because it's a non-access highway. They have an approval for a 20-foot access highway.
Right. Mhm.
We cannot access our property in 21 feet, 22, 30 feet. We only have 20 feet allowed.
Okay, but they're, in their letter, they're saying you have to do 22 feet on this section
They're saying that we have to do 22 feet in the town, in the state right away.
in the state right away.
But then we can go down to 20.
You can, but
Yes.
they're demanding that you have to go to 20.
Yes, we can, we do not
I would
have
like to see that in writing.
There's
Yeah.
Yes.
two parcels there, and I think this might be part of the confusion. There's two parcels. So there's the 44 right-of-way.
Right.
And then there's a strip
Yeah,
next to it.
there's
that
another
DOT
strip beyond
owns.
it. I didn't
Yeah,
realize that,
So they're,
yes.
they're saying they can go out to 22 in the right-of-way for the turning radiuses to
Mhm.
get in and out of there.
Yeah.
But I think the right-of-way line is what, maybe like 15 feet back from edge of
Usually,
pavement, something
yeah,
like that?
usually
Yeah.
that.
Might be a little bit
Then there's
wider.
a second parcel where they have,
Second
they're
parcel is
blasted
where
through
they
the
have
rock
that-
cut.
Yeah, and that's
Yes.
where they've got the narrow
Right,
easement.
that's
And
where the culvert is, cross culvert is also.
Right, and that's, you know, back in the 50s, they had plans to make that thing a 4-lane expressway.
Which is why there's so
Because
much
they
state
didn't
access
have that.
property, that's why.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's, okay, just wanted to make sure that that was
The
clarified,
state
that
is
there's two
saying
parcels there.
that the access road, you can't transition from their right-of-way at 22 feet to anything other than 20 feet
at the property line.
at the property line.
So this
So
would
you
be-
couldn't you can't transition to 22 feet.
No,
And that's per the deed.
this is per deed, this is per the Connecticut State Department of Transportation, compilation map, and it's recorded on town, records, dated July 28th, 2011. So before this was enacted, no one could access or ever develop this land,
Right,
because it was landlocked
yeah, that
by the
was,
state of Connecticut.
Right.
right.
They allowed 20 feet, no more, because of it being a special.
But the DOT has not been contacted and asked if you can widen that to 22 feet. You're going by a 2011 memo from DOT.
It's this very,
Where's that memo from DOT you just said?
They're also, I think you're saying that it's a different department of DOT, right?
different department, it's completely different.
This is the right of way, that's land acquisition.
So this is for safety and design in
Nobody
their
wants to-
state property. Now you have right-of-way land acquisition department from Connecticut DOT, which is a completely different department and review. If, to be completely frank, it'd probably be another year in order to get 2 feet of an access.
Well, if we could get that in writing from DOT, I'd like to see that. So,
Well, what do you want in writing from DOT? DOT won't put,
saying that they will not allow it to
It,
go to 22 feet.
they won't say that.
So what I'm gonna throw something out there. So District 4, when they were, you know, at the site, they basically said anything past the property line, they will not provide comment for. Because what it is in the deed, you know, basically what was permitted is what was permitted, you know, anything else, they don't, that's not their, you know,
Right.
jurisdiction. So they're not, basically, he said after the property line, you know, what it says in, you know, the break and the non-access, all that, however, property management handled it in 2011, District 4 does not handle
So even,
breaks. Yeah.
even going off of the existing roadway to where you start down the hill, you can't expand that roadway going down the hill to 22 feet.
I guess that's how you.
Can you call it a shoulder?
So,
I mean, we already have a 2-foot shoulder on each side of it. Like,
well,
we're not-
I'd
we're
just
not-
like
it
to see
doesn't
that in
just
writing
drive
before we
off. Like,
we
that's
approve
not-
it, so.
We can go from 22 feet wide to then 20 feet at the access point, and then if it's okay with you, we can go
I don't have a problem with it staying at 20 feet where the gate is and where the existing road
I mean,
is, and
in
as soon as
terms
you
of
start down the
design
road.
with the topography
That has to
and
be
the
22
drainage,
feet.
what kind of,
It adds a foot on either side.
okay,
Expanse.
okay. I mean, yeah, I mean, based on topography and everything that, you know, you guys have to handle on your end with moving over that swale and everything.
Let's go a little bit wider, we just extend it off into the other side.
So is the road currently 20 feet with 2-foot shoulders?
The paved driveway?
Our proposed, yeah.
Oh.
So it's actually, 24 feet, the,
There's a shoulder. Yeah, there is a shoulder before we start changing your grade. You never wanna just have a 20-foot and then drive off, maybe that's it.
Yeah, the existing driveway going in is about 15 feet.
Yeah.
right, but no, what you're proposing is,
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. But most of our town roads are 20 feet. For him to go back and re-engineer and redesign this is a lot of money and, you know, but my point is, if we have a 20-foot road with a shoulder, are we meeting that close to 22 feet that you're looking for in case of emergency or something that needs to happen? Is the protection there?
Yes, we have, I mean, our shoulder area is about 24 feet. It's 24 feet from grade, so you're having a consistent driveway.
And then you've got a swale on one side.
That does, and that's not including the swale.
Right.
That's not including the swale, so it's 24 from the extent of the swale to the other end.
Right, but I'm saying there's a swale along the one edge of the roadway up.
Yes,
So that's something that people could drive off into.
That's
So
only.
you wanted 24 plus 2-foot shoulder, now we're 26 feet, or 25, 26 feet, before we get to the swale.
Whatever. I'm just looking out for issues that will come up, so.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to argue against it, I'm just saying, if there's another way to look at it.
That swale is only on a specific portion of the
Only-
existing driveway, yeah.
yeah.
It's not the whole way.
Otherwise, it's just a stone trench.
Yeah.
And the question is, we can just, if it's okay, we cannot.
Anything else you got?
In the revision of these plans, we'll try to get something in writing if we are able to from the fire chief
Yeah.
to the town staff.
Yeah.
Okay, police chief, you may or may not.
Yeah.
A limit of 1 food truck per night on the premises.
Was that part of the Torrington Health District thing? You only have one?
No, so the Torrington Area Health, their only concern with the food truck is to make sure that any food truck that is on site has their Torrington Area Health
Okay.
license, yeah.
Yeah, one food truck.
Okay.
I may have missed this, but was the line about the engineers supervising the roadwork construction?
Yes,
and-
that was there, that that Civil One will inspect and certify the entire roadway construction and provide information to town staff. Yep.
Okay, so, are we ready to close the public hearing?
Comments?
Anybody got any comments here? Any more? Everybody done? Okay,
Make a motion to close the public hearing.
go ahead.
I'll make a motion to close public hearing, PZC 26-6.
I'll second.
Okay. All
Any discussion? No, all in favor? Okay. So since it's 9 o'clock, and we have town stuff here, gentleman in the green shirt with a hat, are you here for something? All right. Can we, he's what, Yield Properties?
Yes.
Can we move him up to,
Sure.
yeah, so he can get in?
I'll make a motion to move PZC 26-8 up to item A of old business.
Second?
Got a motion, second. Okay.
I'll second it.
No, there's a second already. Got a vote.
Oh, got a vote?
Yeah.
Okay, all in favor?
I'm sorry, who seconded the movement? Thanks, John.
John.
This is, we're moving it.
John did. Yeah, it was John's second, yes.
Okay, you're up.
Good evening. My name is Craig Bothred, representing Yield Properties, address 176 Old Winstead Road, Torrington, Connecticut, in regard to a site plan modification for a landscape construction yard at 112 Standard Ave, which is located within the town gateway zone. You guys have a site plan? I didn't bring a fancy poster board with me. I could have borrowed yours. And I very much appreciate you guys moving me up. It's gonna go a long way for what time I wake up tomorrow morning. So what we have is we've identified an existing industrial lot at 112 Standard Avenue and showing aggregate storage and stockpile areas as well as a couple of vehicular storage areas. I want to make note that pretty much we've maintained existing use of the property and kept the piles and locations in where they've historically been on this parcel at 112 Standard Ave.
You got all the material that was in the wetlands removed?
The material that was in the wetlands that was previously identified prior to my ownership has been removed.
Okay. So, first question is, we don't have an engineer stamp or anything on here. We're supposed to have that, correct?
Yeah, we talked about the need for, it's really not an engineered plan, but it is a surveyed plan. We did talk about the need for a surveyor's signature on the plan.
Okay, is that what's coming?
Yes.
So.
She can make it a condition of-
We're not holding a public hearing, we're just.
No, it's just a site plan. So you could make, if you wanted to, you could make that a condition of approval. Craig and I talked about that last week.
And so, from your first site plan to this one, there was some issues with material being over the boundary line?
Yep.
So has that been removed, or was
Yes,
it
sir.
just removed on the print?
Removed on the print and removed.
And removed?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. And, I think one of the staff recommendations was something to stop that from happening again? Any sort of way of doing that, to make sure it stays on your side of the property? Or,
We can do a stakeout every 50 feet or 100 feet. If we made staff aware that works on the property, I think that was the first measure that needed to be brought to their attention so it doesn't happen again.
okay.
Hey, don't do that again, you messed up.
So according to this, you actually own the old sports dome?
Unfortunately, that was based upon when the survey was taken. I wish I still did own it, but I do not. I sold it prior to the acquisition of 112 Standard Avenue.
Anybody got any questions? Your future plans for this is just to make this a
So
process?
I will go into my future plans, and that would be the one reason why I wouldn't ask for a condition of approval to necessarily be a surveyed site plan for this. If you need it to be, I'm more than willing to. I'm looking to be a good steward in partnership with the town and explore the greenway trail running through this parcel, as well as the, going to be a formal submission of a site plan for up to a 10-lot industrial subdivision on this piece of property.
That was approved before, right?
No, that was 5, I think, before, wasn't it?
5?
Well, that's not Craig's plan anyway, that
No.
he'd be coming
No,
with a new
originally,
plan.
back when Berlinski owned it, I believe it was 5.
Oh, even prior to Fracasso? Yeah,
Yes.
I'm not familiar with the.
Berlinski came in with to us.
I believe it was
Something similar.
six lots.
5 or 6, yes.
Yep.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
You're the expert here in the crowd.
I've been here too long.
Yeah, right.
There's not much here for us to, but you haven't done much there, except clean it up.
We've cleaned it up. We've definitely tried to organize what was there, condense the piles into one area. I mean, we still haven't been able to get rid of all of the aggregate that was even first stockpiled on the property. We've definitely added, hopefully to a benefit of the tax basis of the town of Winstead, we definitely brought some more vehicles and equipment over there and stored them in those areas that have been identified in the plan.
Did you put up additional buildings, or was all there when you bought it?
Everything was
They were
there.
there, okay.
Yep.
I knew Kenny put quite a few up there.
So, how long before you think you're gonna come before us for the subdivision of the 10 lots?
A realistic timeframe?
Yeah.
I would say we would probably be within the next 1 to 2 years.
1 to 2 years.
Yep.
And then that time you would include the rail trail on it?
The rail trail would probably actually happen sooner. We're looking to do a site plan development that includes both, so
Yeah.
it's kind of like, we make sure that both coincides and will work cohesively with one another.
Okay, so I guess I'm a little we've always wanted to know what was going on here, so now we kind of know. We just don't have a stamp. But if it's gonna come back before us in 1 to 2 years, and he's still basically just cleaning this up, do we need, we could just approve this?
Your regulations give you an out. I was just looking for it because I knew it was in here somewhere. But there's a list of stuff that you need to have as part of a site plan, and one of them is, you know, signed by a licensed land surveyor. But subsection C under that section of your reg says the commission may not necessitate any of these items required for a site plan application if the commission determines that the information is not needed to determine compliance with these regs. So if you don't need a signature on that plan to determine that it's compliant.
See where we do, I mean, it's not a change in use of the property. Right?
Yeah,
It's-
and you're
it's
cleaning it up.
and making it better. That's
You're
for sure.
making it legal.
So that was gonna be my question. So this is a site plan modification. What's changed? What's changed from the
Can
original?
I raise my hand? I sat in the crowd for the last 2 hours, and I didn't even, you guys said, we should do this as a site plan modification, you know what I mean, so we're in conformance. I couldn't honestly, I can sit here honestly and say, I don't even know what was previously zoned. Or what the plan, what we're modifying it from. What was it, what was its historic use?
Well, the last use under Fracasso contemplated residential development, is that correct? Do I have that right?
There was a thought to do that, yes.
Yeah, but it's actual use, like on record with
Right.
the town. I mean, I know I'm doing the exact same thing. It's been, it's been for probably decades. I don't know what the existing use was.
We have it on file now.
I couldn't tell you without
Yeah.
digging through the file,
So-
but it's a modification in the sense that you have identified your stockpile
Got it.
locations and your equipment.
Understood.
Yeah,
locations.
because we knew there was a bunch of stuff in the wetlands, and previous engineers had told us about that, they're supposed to be moving them.
Yep.
And so now you've shown us you removed it, so
Yeah.
this is all good for us to see. But personally, as far as the stamp goes, are you gonna come back to us in a year or two?
I think it's gonna be a phased submission. It's gonna be probably Cardinal. We'll be developing a plan for the trail,
Walkway,
which will be
yeah.
the first piece of that, and that will coincide with that, where it's kind of wait and see where everything lands with that and
There's a
build
lot of
around
puzzle
that.
pieces.
Yeah,
with-
that's a
with
lot,
that.
lot to it.
It's only 2. Get that plan and we'll move forward with the next plan. That's it.
And I commend you to bring us this, at least we know what's been done there.
Yeah,
And
I mean, it's great.
Thank you for
because-
cleaning it up and
Not a
making it
problem.
look a lot better.
In the vehicle storage area, there's no key here, so I can't tell what the dotted lines or dash line means. Looks like there's a dash line offset from the Still River. Is that the 75-foot setback that is going through your vehicle storage area, or is that some other?
No, the dash line is, so it's
See the dash
lot
line?
line designation. So this survey was based upon, well, you see parcel 1 through 6. I believe you're referring to the ones that go through.
I think you're talking about this one,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
What is that?
I think that's an offset. It's either an offset or it's the edge of,
Is that your 75-foot line from wetlands?
Yeah, that's the setback line.
But I got no key to verify that.
oh, we're pretty close.
And is it appropriate to store vehicles that close to the wetlands? That's the only question I have.
No, you know what, that might. I think that is actually denoting the edge of, I'm not gonna call it pavement.
I think it's edge
not
of
pavement,
gravel.
Sort of the edges of gravel, because if you see it, it ends up meeting up with this, what I think is a retaining wall. I think I've only been on that site once, so I can't remember it all, but, and then you'll see that line sort of jogs around that building. So I think that's the edge of a call it the construction yard, sort of the gravel area
Yeah, the
that's out
gravel
there.
area where it's been
Yeah.
leveled over the years.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
are we expanding it by this change beyond that gravel point for vehicle storage?
It's actually right now, like in that location, I can specifically say it goes from like a gravel buffer to a
Yeah.
turf mode. And it's possible that a vehicle could be parked over the grass in that location. We would do our best to, and we could make the commitment to try to leave it on what was previously gravel
Previously, there was
surface.
equipment all over the property.
Oh, yeah, I've been back there.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's debris in there, into the high grass
Yeah.
where the Still River is. Before you, owned it. I didn't trust that.
Anybody got any questions? No? John, you good? All right, so what would our next move here be for this? To approve this?
Yes, you could approve it.
Do you have a draft motion?
If you chose to. We don't, I don't think I have a draft motion for this one.
Can we get a key on this, so we know what these lines mean?
Absolutely. You want me to type up a draft motion for you real quick? Or do you wanna just make it up on, as you go? I mean, it's,
I think we're just gonna approve the way it is, right?
yeah,
You don't
I
have
think
any
that's fine,
conditions?
yeah.
Can we get a key?
Wing it?
So what,
Go ahead, wing it.
what I could commit to do is I could drop, this is a 6-set survey that went into this one site plan. I could drop off all of the original pieces where you see the dash lines, which would include the key as well
Okay.
as part of this.
Yeah, or just if
Whatever
it's,
staff needs in town hall.
drop it off. and I'll go to the-
Okay, I can do that. I
Yeah, if
can
you can
upload it
send
as
us the key, so we know what we're looking at.
Yeah.
We're pretty much
We'll get
happy
it in
with
those,
it. He'd be curious.
You gonna type fast?
Well, do you want me to try to,
It's after 9 o'clock here.
want me to try to make it up as we go? Because there's really no conditions,
Yeah,
right?
there's really no conditions.
Right, so I make a motion to approve PZC 26-8 Yield Industries 112 Standard Avenue, Zone TG, and approve the site plan modification for landscape construction yard as presented.
And waive the engineer's signature, surveyor's signature.
Yeah,
stamp.
and I would make that just a more blanket, that the site plan submitted is sufficient and we waive any other requirements, with the exception of a key that we wish to be submitted.
Oh, yep, John seconded.
All in favor?
Aye. Sorry to keep you waiting all night.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
And I hope you guys have a short rest of your evening. Especially the
Take care. There's no way I was keeping up with you.
Sorry.
Your coat, well. That's her coat. Yeah. Okay. You got our map, zoning map. No business, public hearing on your zoning map.
All right. Did they leave or they still here?
I think Jamie's coming back because
What about the
bag and stuff.
Forsaken, are they gone?
Yeah, they've gone.
Yeah, they're going,
Okay.
yeah.
All right then, so we'll proceed on to, public hearings. Number 5, PZC 26-10, applicate Winchester PZC zoning regulations, proposal amendments to current sections 415-19, 415-48, 415-55, and Appendix A, use table creating new section 415-15, 415-49, renumbering all sections as necessary. Whew.
So really brief summary, it's the regulations we've been talking about for a number of months to bring these regs into compliance with Public Act 25-1. No changes since the last time you saw these. They were referred out to the COG with a 35-day requirement, a 35-day lead time requirement. We did get comments back from the COG essentially saying we have no comments.
Okay.
So, yeah, they kind of are what they are. We don't really have any public to talk to tonight, so unless you want me to go into more detail, I'm happy to make it short and sweet.
Yeah, I don't see any changes, we've been through them several times.
So it's, you know, the conservation traffic mitigation overlay zone language, minimum parking in those, couple of minor updates to a couple of
Middle
other
housing in
sections.
there, I think.
I'm sorry.
Middle housing was.
Middle housing, yep.
All that.
Yep, that's the 2 to 9 unit stuff that we spent a lot of time developing. Yeah, so it's all there for you.
You got any comments on it? Or?
No, I don't have any comments.
I'll make the motion to approve
close.
Yeah, close the hearing for now.
Okay, make a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second.
I'll second it. Rista second it.
Rista, yeah. Had a vote?
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I abstain? 'Cause I wasn't really involved much of this.
Close vote for the public hearing to close it.
Yeah, I'm in favor.
Okay,
Just to close the hearing.
all right.
Abstain.
Yeah.
Adams?
Yep.
So now we're off to PZC 26-11, applicant Winchester PZC, zoning map, proposed creation of conservation traffic mitigation overlay maps per SSPA 25-1. Make that motion.
Second.
All right.
Sorry, who was it?
I made it, Peter second. So, this is a pretty neat map here.
Somebody's good.
We went over this in pretty granular detail a couple, I don't know.
Yeah.
Sometime when we met a while back. You've got two zones, one to the, basically to the south of 44 and one more or less to the north of 44. It captures sort of the dense parts of towns. It captures almost the entirety of the town gateway district with the exception of a couple of town-owned parcels and some large stuff down the south end. And the reason for that is the middle housing and some of that denser housing development has to be allowed in those commercial zones. So we figured we'd capture the town gateway. We figured we'd capture town center because it's, or a portion of town center, but not all of it. We left Main Street kind of the way it is, where you have no parking requirement anyway. But we captured town center residential because you added middle housing as a special permit use in that zone. And then we captured town single family because we were talking tight streets and narrow roads and this kind of stuff. So we figured we'd probably want to keep requiring parking there. This allows you to continue to require one space for smaller units, so studios and one-bedroom units. It's one parking space for each of those, 2 parking spaces for anything 2 bedrooms and above. Outside of that, any housing development that's lower than 16 units, you can't have a minimum parking requirement. The reality is we don't have transit. Anybody that's building anything is going to provide parking, but it seemed like a kind of a smart move to capture these areas. If you approve this overlay, will end up on your zoning map. So this is, kind of a capture of a small portion of your zoning map, because I don't care about all the rural residential in the outskirts of town for this purposes, but we'll add these 2 zones to your zoning map so that anybody reviewing it.
This will become July 1st?
That would be the idea,
Yeah.
is that, July 1st would be the effective date.
How does it affect Yield's plans in any way?
They'll be subject to the minimum.
Okay, no, I'm just saying his property is included in there.
It
What's
is.
the one that's exempt there? I assume that's a DOT property? state
Yeah,
property?
there's, I'm not gonna remember them all, but
It looks like motor vehicle and DOT garage.
Yep, those
Those
are
are exempt.
definitely exempt, and
Right.
some of this stuff that's kind of in the middle there is
Cemetery.
DEP owns some of it, I think the town owns a little piece,
Yeah.
DOT owns some of
Okay.
it. A lot of it's
Yeah.
floodplain anyway.
Yeah, a lot of it's swamp anyway. so- Okay, I just
Yes,
want
those-
to know how it would affect his plans. I mean, it would,
Yeah.
whatever he does there,
Yeah, he's up in
it'll
this
impact
area.
that, so,
Yeah, so
okay.
he'll be subject to the minimum.
No, I think it looks great.
So I just have a question, and I'm just not remembering, probably because it's late. This overlay, do we have regulations in here for the overlay that say it has to have parking?
Yes.
So, in areas where it was town center, we're now becoming more restrictive than we have historically been in some of these lots. So right now, our town center doesn't require any parking, but we're saying there's certain lots that we want to have parking in the town center.
For residential uses, yes. It would not apply for commercial uses.
Okay, so it's just residential, and those particular areas would have to require parking.
Yes, yep. And that, that sort of grew out of a conversation Jeff and I had, and when we talked about this a while ago, but Jeff and I had originally sort of brought to you the concept of maybe changing the town center zone boundary a little bit and extending town center residential and contracting some of the town center to capture some of these streets like Center Street, some of these back here that are kind of narrow and they're kind of all going residential. We've had a couple of conversions over the last year back here. And I think through the conversation that we had at the commission, we decided not to do that, but we did decide that it sort of made sense to have some parking requirements back here for residential uses.
And do we allow, if they can show that there's municipal parking or other parking, that we can waive that?
Parking needs assessment is there and,
That
yeah,
other-
yep, that's all follows, it all follows the language of the statute.
Okay.
Yep. And that's in there too. I think it's new section 4.
I know I remember reading, but I just wanted to.
415, yeah.
Any further discussion? Can I make a motion to close the public hearing for PZ-26-11?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
I'm part of this one.
Next.
Now we're on to number 6, old business. PZ-26-6, applicant Alex Fortuna, on behalf of the Forsaken Lands, location 32 Norfolk Road, proposal special permit for commercial recreation. Any discussion on this? We have our draft motion.
Is it
We do?
for Forsaken Lands?
Yeah.
I think what we wanna do is continue.
Postpone the decision.
Yeah.
Until we get further information
That's
that
right.
we requested from
Yep.
police, fire, and
Yep.
DOT.
Okay.
Yeah, just continue the application to your
So
next
we'll
regular
continue the
meeting, so
application
We've
to-
got 65 days from today still to make a
Yes,
decision?
65
Okay.
days from tonight, yep,
Yep.
yep.
So what date do we want to continue it to?
Our next meeting,
Next meeting?
we can put it on the agenda for the next meeting, see if we get that.
Yep.
Okay.
If we don't get it, we can delay it another meeting.
All right, so then we're off to B, PZC.
You want to make a motion on that?
To continue it, yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion to continue PZC 26-6 until our next scheduled meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Yep.
Who had the second? I had John.
Adam.
Okay, so we're on to PZC-26-8, applicant Yield Properties, location 112 Standard Avenue, Zone Town Gateway, proposal site plan modification for landscaping construction yard.
We've already
approved.
We already
approved
did
one.
that.
Yep.
Yes.
We
We
did?
moved it up,
We
okay.
did.
Moved it
Oh,
up.
oh, right,
Yeah.
because it wasn't a public
Krista
hearing.
made the motion.
Right, gotcha.
All right. Okay, so, that's how that one's done. C, PZC-26-10, applicant Winchester PZC, location zoning regulations, proposal amendments to current sections 415-19, 415-48, 415-55, Appendix A, use table creating a new section 415-15, 415-49, renumbering all sections as necessary.
I make a motion to approve PZC 26-10 as presented.
Second.
I think we just need to add with an effective date.
Oh, with an effective date of July 1st?
If I can get this news thing to get out of my way here.
Okay.
Yeah, so I have the motion up there if you wanna.
Okay, make a motion to approve application PZC 26-8, the text amendments to section 415-19, 415-48, 415-55, Appendix A, use table, and the creation of new section 415-15 and 415-49, and renumber all sections as necessary with an effective date of July 1st, 2026, for the reasons that the proposal is consistent with the goals set forth in the 2020 Plan of Conservation and Development and provisions of Special Session Public Act 25-1.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm gonna abstain again.
Next.
Lauren, did you get that Adam abstained on that? To carry through, yeah.
Oh, okay, yep. Got it.
So do you have a draft motion for this next one?
We do.
All right, so.
Working on it.
Want me to read it, or you wanna do it?
Okay, PC-26-11.
I can read it from there.
Go ahead, you can read it better.
Approve application 26-11, zone change, applicant Town of Winchester, Connecticut, proposal creation of conservation and traffic mitigation overlay zones as per SSPA 25-1, effective July 1st, 2026. For the following reason, this application is consistent with the town's plan of conservation and development. This application meets the criteria and standards of 3J common regulations, special permits / special exceptions.
I'll second.
Where's the second?
All in favor? Yeah, okay. I dare ask, number 7, new business.
I've got nothing.
Jeff got anything?
No, thank you.
Can at some point we get either a monthly or bi-monthly list of zoning enforcement that's been done? At some point, we haven't seen any in a few years.
Yeah, it has been some time. Yeah, we've discussed this a few times in the past, and we could pull a report out of OpenGov, which will be different from what I had been providing, or are you looking for that kind of detail again?
Just like to know what zoning enforcement's been done and by whom? By you or by,
Okay.
yeah. Especially seeing we're getting Chromebooks. That
Yeah.
stuff should be
Are
there.
we?
You are?
That should be there, so, but I mean, I'd like to see it on a monthly basis, especially with the Chromebooks.
Yeah, okay.
Marina. Why are these in there?
That's
that for
under,
t-
that's under other business or whatever from last month.
Oh, I see it, yeah, sorry.
Okay, so do we dare tackle number 8, other business? Discussion of marina-related regulations.
So we tackled it a couple of weeks ago. You all had suggested some changes. I've made those changes. The red is what you saw last month. The purple are changes from, or I guess last month, whatever, earlier this month. The purple is sort of new stuff. Broke it out into 2 different kind of major and minor. I think Rista was the one that made that suggestion. So it's your pleasure.
There were some comments made during that meeting that I thought about after the meeting and everything. I think it was Scott that said we're creating a mandatory monopoly.
I think I was the one that used that
Yeah.
terminology.
Was you?
Yeah, because there's an ordinance that you can only have one marina in
Right,
town.
right. But
So not you, but the town has,
Right.
yeah.
And then I was unaware that the Maxim Group owned the lower end of that property all the way down to Boyd Street.
Yeah.
And that's part of the Highland Lake Business District. So I could foresee something happening in the future, especially since he sold his house and was gone. Him wanting to liquidate those properties. And maybe, just put it this way, this town is supporting 3 businesses that are lake-related boat businesses. 3 of them. So, what if somebody wanted to open up a boat sales store down there, a bigger company come in, like Echo Bay came up and said, hey, we're gonna do a satellite store here on the lower end of the property which Maxim Group owns. We're basically saying you can't.
No,
No?
we're not saying that. The marina use, as we've discussed, is the waterfront
It's the
property with the
waterfront,
slips and the
right.
gas pump.
But all the uses we're doing as marina accessory
Right.
uses, all based on having that piece of property.
So I think a lot of those uses fall into other categories already. So in your scenario, somebody wanted to open up a boat sales location, it would be vehicle sales and service pleasure. It fits under that, so they would not get boxed out in any way.
Okay, so even if you wanted to come up, say for happen, somebody made an offer over on Laurel City Marine.
Right.
And he had to find a new location.
Mhm.
He could bring his service business up there?
Sure.
If the zone allows it.
Well, right, if the zone, yeah.
But it's Highland Lake Business Zone.
Right.
So, but we're already doing all these special things for, in our proposed regulation here that says you have to have this before you can do something else.
You're talking about this ownership piece, and I kind of agree with you on that, like, because I was thinking about it too, the same thing, right? We have a lake in town, and I think there's a lot of things that people may want to do that maybe even out, you know, right now I'm not suggesting you put it somewhere else, but outside the Highland Lake, districts. Like, we have this marina right over here, for example, right, doing boat sales and service and storage, and so there may be other places, and I don't think it needs to be under the same ownership. If somebody wants to rent a kayak or do something that, you know, I think it's the use specific, it's not necessarily ownership specific. And the other thing I was thinking, because I was thinking that, and I was thinking, you know, we talked in here about, parking, but not necessarily boat parking for people coming to use. And we just recently went through this whole big thing to create parking as a primary use. I don't know if we wanna put different standards if it's people using the lake versus people using town, so, you know, maybe we might wanna look at parking as a principal use, or we did major, minor again, here, instead of trying to come up with different standards, and then use this just for, if it's boat parking, you know, cause they would be different design criteria, right? So I thought the same thing that you did.
So, like, we have a whole regulation for car parking, which is what most of that parking lot would be used for in the summertime. But then you're gonna have boat storage parking in the wintertime, which is a different seasonal use, which we don't have any regulation on, which would probably be determined by the fire marshal.
Yeah.
And then,
fire codes that
so
dictate that.
we have to figure that one, and now, what do you do about boat trailer parking? I mean, if you've driven by and looked, what happens if one of those trailers caught fire? Now, they can, because a trailer over on top of Alpha Avenue had electrical wires fall on it, and actually a trailer burned.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. That was quite the fire call. How does a trailer catch on fire?
You're right.
Yeah, well, hot wires across it and the tires burned off.
Yeah, so,
There's just not much to burn.
No.
but-
no, there's not, but do we need boat trailer parking defined by the fire marshal, or can it be just random?
I'd have to, honestly, and maybe Peter, I don't know if you know.
I don't
that.
know. I
Yeah,
just know
I'd
there's,
have to ask the
I
question.
know for the boat, you know, for like storage for the winter time, there's certain distances they have to be apart because of fire dangers and
Like,
stuff
I
like
think-
that, and that's all state fire code.
Right, and that makes sense, because they're wrapped in plastic,
right.
and they're made, you know, a boat is
Right.
all kinds of materials that's
Yeah, and
hazardous
I mean,
and
I don't know
can burn
what,
and all that.
you know, I've had discussions with Jamie in the past about, you know, do they have to have, you know, gas removed, or do they have to have batteries removed? I believe they have to, you know, just so there's an electrical source for ignition there, things like that. There's,
So I will say that, you know, in sort of revising the definitions for this, and I'm trying to organize my thoughts on the comments that you guys have come out with, so I may not do a good job of organizing them right now, but I'll
We
try.
don't have to do anything tonight. This is
No.
just,
No, I know.
you know, I had 2 weeks to think about this, and then the other thing comes into all this play is now we're creating boat storage and all that, and maybe we need to address indoor storage, because sooner or later, he may have a building there they're gonna store boats inside of. Vertical storage. And then, if we create an indoor storage, then we should address the carpeting, the flooring store with the Winchester indoor storage.
Yeah, well, I think, that's a.
Yeah, side note, I spoke with the attorney on that project today, so he knows the application he's gotta pull and the hill he needs to climb with it.
But it may not be that big a hill. You know, if we're doing something else here.
well, and you've already got issues with boat storage in town. You don't realize it, because they're storing them in Lipton Cotton. They're storing them
Everywhere.
over here in the basement at the marina, at the boat place. They're storing them there. They're storing them in Robert's storage facility, anywhere and everywhere that they
Oh,
can put a boat.
they're stored everywhere.
They're storing them everywhere, so. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not regulated at all,
No.
period.
So I think with regard to trailers, you know, Jeff brought that up too, and I added that into one of those definitions. I think major.
Yeah.
You know, so if it's there for an, you know, an exceptionally long time, then it, you know, kind of falls into that major thing, and then buffer requirements come into play. With regard to your first comment about this marine accessory use versus sort of other primary uses, I think, and I wanna make sure that I review the language again, probably multiple times, but the idea is, we have a marina, and then they have a bunch of stuff that they wanna do that sort of goes alongside the marina. And so to your point, you know, those parcels down lower, maybe somebody wants to come in and, you know, have a boat sales place. That would, as Jeff said, that would get captured under vehicle sales pleasure, which is not allowed in Highland Lake Business Zone. So the only way it gets allowed right now is as an accessory use to an existing marina.
Right.
So it gets.
That's an issue.
Well,
Because
is it though? And I'm asking that because if it is, then maybe what we wanna do is change what's allowed in that zone to allow additional uses.
So you've made it very clear, and I've made it clear, that there's only one marina at Highland Lake. And the definition of the marina is the property on the other side of the road.
Right.
So the building that is currently there is not the marina, it's a boat sales thing.
Service, sales.
Service, whatever it is. And across the road, the old Union Pin property, he's potentially gonna put a building on it, I've heard. Or it's, right now, it's going to be parking.
Parking.
So maybe we don't need to have this tied to an existing marina since there is only one. The big fear is that if we do, in my mind, that if we do something that doesn't regulate it, that somebody can say, hey, well, I have this business, I can now have a marina on the lakeside. But if it's so defined that you can't do that, then are we actually doing too much?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's always the concern of over-regulating. The other thing that I'll say, and we kicked this around a little bit, and we can always go backwards too. So the parking as a primary use also is not allowed in the Highland Lake Business District. And so that's again sort of why we can't, so commercial, you know, vehicle sales, pleasure, however that's worded, I forget. Vehicle sales and service pleasure is not allowed in the Highland Lake Business District. Parking as a primary use is not allowed in the Highland Lake Business District. So those two uses are kind of the primary things that are getting dealt with up there. You know, those are the two uses that are coming along with this marina. They're not allowed on their own parcel. And the marina parcel up there is so tiny that you can't really do anything other than have the dock landing. So that's why we came up with this marina.
Right.
You know, if you go down to like Connecticut River, the shoreline, you get marinas that are 40 acres, and they're doing all kinds of stuff on there because it's all one parcel. This is totally different.
Yes.
So.
This is, you know, he's limited the number of boats you can have in the water and all that stuff. It just, I don't know.
But if you want to take a different approach and allow those uses as primary uses on those properties, I think we could go that route and solve the problems that way too. I just, in looking at your use table, it seemed very specific, the types of businesses
I think
that
we
you
should
wanted
just
to allow.
discuss this on another
I think
night,
I agree.
because it's getting late. Good with that?
Yeah.
Approval of minutes for,
Make a motion to approve June 8th, 2026 regular meeting minutes.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
I'm gonna abstain.
Communications, none?
All but Adam, did you get that?
Yep.
All right.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, he's in on that one.
Overtime time, right?
Yeah, we get time and a half, right?
Yeah, we got a raise, huh?
Yeah.
Keep yourself double.
Twice as much as the last meeting.
Good night, everybody.
200% right.
See you, John.
We just approved a
Well,
bunch
we
of
got
these
some-